I feel so bright, I feel so gifted, I feel so high, I feel so lifted. By my side is where you're sitting, in my life is where you fit in, yeah. I never thought that I would get this far. I wanna drive around in the nice cars, I wanna forget about my scars and just have a good night. I smoke something down, I drink something down. I'm feeling it now, I'm feeling it now. I could say it out loud. When I see you, my heart goes whoa. I see you, my heart goes down, 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 down. Say it out loud. Down, 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 down. I could say it out loud. I feel so bright, I feel so gifted, I feel so high, I feel so lifted. By my side is where you're sitting, in my life is where you fit in. I feel so bright, I feel so gifted, I feel so high, I feel so lifted. By my side is where you're sitting, in my life is where you fit in, yeah. I never thought that I would get this far. I wanna drive around in the nice cars, I wanna forget about my scars and just have a good night. I smoke something down, I drink something down. I'm feeling it now, I'm feeling it now. I could say it out loud. When I see you, my heart goes down, 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 down. I could say it out loud. Down, 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 down. Say it out loud. Down, 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 down. Say it out loud. Down, 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 down.
Hello, everyone. Sorry for being just a little bit late. We had a little bit of issues getting everyone ready, but not everyone is nice and ready to go. We are here for week number 7. Playoffs are closing in, and everyone is looking to grab a spot. And right now, we have some contenders for top 3 in Pool A facing up against each other right here, right now. This is going to be very interesting. But so far, everyone is looking really, really good. I've seen great play out of almost every person in this entire game, and I'm excited to see what we have in store for us today. What about you, Karthik? What do you think is going to be pulled out?
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's gonna be a top of the table clash. Since we are a bit late, I think just get right into the draft here.
That's definitely
Excited to
what we
see
are
it all.
looking for today, and hopefully things go swimmingly for both teams. I'm expecting a good series here. Everyone is looking incredibly strong.
Yeah, straight away the Udyr ban. That jungler is just busted, and it just is so hard to play against. So either teams will be getting their hands on it. And Swain coming out on the other side, a really good flex pick and might be a comfort pick for some people on MNC. Um, on the other hand, Seraphine coming out, really good power picks being taken out with Udyr and Seraphine, while PVE are going for more niche, I'm guessing comfort picks that the other team plays.
Definitely, with the Rek'Sai being banned up here, has been proven to be very strong. We've seen it in a bunch of leagues so far, even in pro play. So it's very easy to execute on once you know the champion. So having that pick there banned is great, followed by Malphite and a Rel ban.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up coming out as the first pick here. ADCs are still up, so I'll see if they want to grab one of those. A lot of supports are banned out, so they could grab something that's still available. Yep, there it is, the Thresh pick coming out. That's good to see now that two big supports are already gone. Things like Thresh and the Leona are going to come up into popularity, and Thresh does counter Leona in my opinion. So good to see that coming out as the first pick. We'll see if PVE wants to grab up their bot lane here or want to contest a hot jungler, something like Hecarim.
I definitely do think contesting a
I'll,
jungler at this phase would be very, very smart. Just shrink that pool a little bit more, making sure that Badger is not allowed to get onto any of those priority picks. But they do pick up the Kai'Sa, who is still relatively strong even after the nerfs. She still has that potential to do a lot of damage in team fights. So
yeah,
I'm definitely not opposed to the pick, but I do think there are some champions that should be rising in priority. And what do you think about the Caitlyn? I think Caitlyn is a great pick right now.
yeah, I think Caitlyn's a super good pick that's rising into meta, but Kai'Sa is just so flexible in everything she does. She did get her damage nerf, but her identities and character is just really good. And Kai'Sa Nautilus is
That
such a
is a
good lane.
scary lane. Great
Yeah,
pickup from PVE here. So excited to see Esmond on this Kai'Sa. He's played very well
yeah,
throughout the last few
Nautilus
splits.
doing very well with stacking Kai'Sa's passive, and their all-in is pretty ridiculous. And I think an experienced Thresh can make that matchup pretty good for them. But if the Thresh doesn't know how to deal with Nautilus, then it'll be pretty troublesome.
Definitely. We do see a Senna picked up here. Senna Thresh known for being very strong, followed up by an Olaf to mitigate a lot of that Nautilus pressure that can come through in the mid game and early game.
Yeah, I like the Olaf pick coming out. I think although he did get nerfed pretty hard, he is still at the top of the jungle meta. And we'll see if another jungle trade will be coming in. I want to see something like a Hecarim to match the clear speed and have really good scaling. And just have really good dive with the Nautilus and Kai'Sa to kind of like add an identity to their comp.
Definitely. So they do pick up the Lilia, who is, or they are thinking about it. They do lock it in. The Lilia is known as generally being a decent pick into the Olaf, able to match the clear speed, and overall have some really good pressure in the mid game. Although she is very weak on one item, if she does go that supportive build, it could work out for her.
Yeah, and we continue to see PVE doing bans on comfort picks. So now the talent ban's coming out, which isn't an amazing pick in the meta, but it must be something that the enemy mid laner is really good at. And on the other end, we see Cassidon as the ban here.
Definitely a comfort pick being taken away here. And chat predictions will be open once both drafts are locked in the league client. So until then, just hold on to your tokens. You will be able to spend them in just a little bit.
Yeah, just a good idea to see what kind of comps both teams take before putting your tokens down, I think.
We want to
And
give
yeah,
everyone the chance to, evaluate which team should win. We don't want people just betting blind. We do see the Twisted Fate ban, no global pressure coming in from that mid lane, but the Galio is still up, and I still think a relatively strong pick. And the Viego taken away. I like that. He is very strong right now. Very solo queue-esque, though. Not very great in competitive play, in my opinion. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it is interesting because like the enemy team has already picked their jungler, so this is targeting the top Viego.
Hmm.
Haven't seen it a lot. I haven't seen it being that scary, but the Yone pickup coming
Oh,
here,
that
I
makes more
really
sense
like
now.
it. If the mid laner is good at Yone, they can just take over the game. He's just so oppressive to play instantly. So I want to see what kind of counter pick Moon Crew have.
I definitely like the Yone pickup, especially since one of his biggest counters is the Viego. So
That is
Viego
true.
is known for outpressuring a lot of champions like the Aurelia, like the Yasuo, like the Yone, just being able to output a lot more damage in a shorter window, and overall is just great at doing their jobs. But here comes the brother coming out from MNC. They might just pick this up here, and it'll be very, very fun to see how the Brothers of Wind fight against each other today.
Yeah, we'll see if this gets locked in, and it does
It is
not.
going to be an Oriana. You got my hopes up there for just a second.
Yeah, I actually do like the Yone into the Oriana. I think he can get inside her zone really well, but of course Oriana taking the phase rush can keep her distance, and if she's able to dodge his Qs, then she can come out on top in trades. So it really will come down to execution in this mid lane matchup.
I definitely do think that Yone has the slight edge because he has the ability to start fights on his own terms, but an Ornn pickup is a respectable pick. The champion overall is just in a decent spot right now, with a lot of bruiser items falling out of favor. This has brought the rise to a lot of tanks who did not fare very well in the early game.
Yeah, and we'll see if PVE want to just go with a nice duelist to just abuse the Ornn, because it is just a tank, and we see the Gnar coming out. I do hope this gets locked in because it does give them a strong laning phase to work with.
Definitely. I think the Gnar pick overall is good, and into a champion like the Ornn, the Gnar is just able to get away with his weaknesses because he is laning into a melee champion.
Yeah, for sure. So this would round out both comps here, and should be heading into champ select. What do you think of the drafts coming in so far?
I think both drafts look very, very good. Good damage splits from both teams. I don't see any big flaws from any of them. It's mostly down to execution. I think both teams have a very solid identity. PvE likes to go for engages with their Yone, with their Lilia, with their Nautilus and Gnar, and MNC is looking to peel their carries as well as have some answers with long range engage with the Thresh, with the Ornn, so they have a good way to play through.
Yeah, and coming to see what like the comps kind of look like, I think it might be up to MNC to kind of try and space out PvE, because if they can use the Senna slows, the Ornn zoning, the Oriana zoning to keep people like Yone, Lilia, and Kai'Sa with their short range too away from them, then they can do very well. But if they do get behind, that zoning won't matter because people like Yone and Nautilus and Kai'Sa will just run into you and shred you.
It's definitely on them to space very, very well. If they get caught out by a single skill shot, it's dive team happen, and everyone is just going to be tagging in, tagging out onto any of the carries they land a single amount of CC onto.
Yeah, and usually you kind of see the success of Lilia kind of come down to actually the lane prio that she gets and the agency that she gets to just go around everywhere and power farm. So Yone, if he's able to get the push lead, if he's able to play well into Oriana, we know that Gnar can get pushed into Ornn, and Kai'Sa and Nautilus, if they play aggro, are able to do well into the Senna Thresh. Then it will allow Lilia to try to go in and counter jungle something like the Raptors or even the Crux of Way and try and make that Olaf weaker.
Definitely. If Olaf does fall behind, especially with those nerfs, he is a lot easier to deal with now because the Gore Drinker is a lot weaker, but he is still a healing monster, and I would like to see some Grievous Wounds, especially because they are laning up against an Olaf and a Senna coming through in the mid to early game.
For sure, yeah. We can also kind of take a look at the lane matchups here. What do you think about the top lane matchup?
I definitely think it is Gnar favored throughout most of the early to mid game, but I do think the Ornn does end up outscaling and overall just has more engage potential.
Yeah, I think in the 5v5, unless PvE are able to play on that Gnar bar wonderfully and get a really good ultimate, Ornn just gives such a good consistent engage from far away. And also just provides ornaments to his team, so he will outscale. But that early laning phase, if Gnar can punish it and get ahead, that could be really good for them.
I definitely do think Vapus has the ability to punish champions like that Ornn. We've seen him on Gnar before in earlier weeks, and he has played it spectacularly. So I'm expecting him to play this very well, but I wouldn't put it behind before life to make this lane phase even. All the Ornn needs to do is not die and give up maybe 10-20 CS in lane. That's all he needs to do, and he's just going to be a better champion overall.
Yeah, for sure. Just definitely really good scaling that's going to be coming out. And Ornn can just do really well into PVE's team, I think, because he's just such a big meatball along with the Olaf that kind of just zones the short range PVE champions and lets Senna and Orianna be able to do damage from like a bit further away.
Exactly.
They don't have anything that matches like the range. Yone needs to get in there. Lilia can kite around, but still needs to get in there. Kai'Sa again has very short range, just like Gnar, so it can definitely be kited out by. Yeah.
They definitely have the ability to kite away, like you said, with an Orianna, with a Senna, with a Thresh. They have ways to play further back and run away. They definitely have the disengage tools. They just have to make use of them.
Yeah. And next, if we look at the jungle matchup, I actually think Lilia has a really good team around her here to let her try to counter jungle some of Olaf's camps. I actually do like Lilia into Olaf because you can kite him pretty well. The movement speed that you have allows you to dodge his axes and just keep moving around him. And when Olaf does hit his 6, he does get his ult, which enables him to just nullify Lilia ult. So in the upcoming like dragon fights, we could see that being a factor. But I do want to see Lilia try and abuse Olaf, but they're just insane clear speed.
Definitely. It's on the Lilia to try and get ahead here. She does have a better clear speed overall, in my opinion, and can provide a lot to team fights, especially with that engage with the little bowl and ball, with the spin. She is able to make sure things can happen. We've seen big sleeps coming out from a lot of these junglers, and we'll see if Adderall does go for the Zhonya's Hourglass, and I think that is a very good item here because there is a lot of abilities that you can bait out with that single item.
Yeah, do you think the healing Lilia might be pulled out here if it's just going to be the normal damage?
I do think the healing Lilia would be very, very nice here, help out her front line as they do dive on. But I do think some damage would be very nice because their damage split is relatively limited. Yone is maybe 10% magic damage, and so is Kai'Sa. So having that Lilia outputting some DPS would be very helpful in forcing the Ornn to itemize not just towards the Kai'Sa Yone and Gnar, but towards the Lilia as well.
Yeah, and normally you would be kind of concerned for not having enough AP in the team. But Yone has, I think, 25% magic damage in his kit. Kai'Sa has splashes of magic damage, and of course Lilia, as long as she doesn't get too far behind. So it does definitely not become any issue going further into the game here.
As long as the Lilia is even or ahead, that Ornn will have to worry about her because she does do a lot of damage, and it's very consistent too. And that's not the type of damage Ornn likes very much.
Yeah, and Ornn can't do like too much about her either because she'll just run circles around him. It's very hard for Ornn to reach her. Yeah, but Ornn also, now that I think about it, can cancel the Lilia ult. Olaf can cancel the Lilia ult, so they do have some outplay potential in here. We'll see what they can do in team fights.
I'm definitely hoping this Thresh will land some nice hooks here. There are a lot of targets to look for when that Yone does go in, when the Lilia has to look for those sleeps, when the Gnar tries to jump into the middle of their team. It's on the Thresh to land some of these hooks or these flays to make sure that they can't get their jobs done.
Yeah, on top of actually just landing the hooks, I think being in good positions, being able to lantern out people like Orianna and Senna, and using stuff like his ulti and his flay to peel his teammates is actually very important too. So I want to see him actually, instead of looking for like an engage, which I think they already do have pretty well with Olaf and Ornn, I want him try and be like the middleman in front of the his backline to keep the enemy team away, but still looking for CC on the enemy's front line.
Definitely. There are a lot of options for everyone, but as spectator delay does wind down, we do have our predictions open in case you guys do want to drop some tokens here and there. But we'll see you guys in just a couple of minutes. We will be right back with the game. Hope to see you guys there.
I saw you smile from across the bar. Yeah, she was pretty and so close but so far. She flipped her hair and I thought this can't be true. How does a man like me get someone like you? And then she looked at me and I was confused. Everyone here can't be the one that she'll choose. And I look back and saw the spark in her eyes. This can't be real, my head's telling me lies. Just like them, you're coming closer to me. Come shake me, grab me, so I wake up from this dream. I can't breathe, come at me. I don't know if I can speak. Then she said, come with me, let's be free.
Welcome back, everyone. We are here with PVE taking on Moon Crew tonight. Things are looking very interesting. The 6-0 team is going to try and keep their lead. Well, I think MNC is not going to let it happen. They are going to definitely put up a big fight, and we do see a 5-man coming in through the bot side from Moon Crew. They are looking for a little cheeky play down on that bot side.
Yeah, Moon Crew's level 1 is pretty crazy with Olaf, with the Thresh. So we'll see what they can do as opposed to PvE just looking for a standard entrance guard. And Kaisa does a good job of getting out of the way. So it looks like Moon Crew will just go for some wards around here.
They have been spotted out, and good on the Kaisa from running away. If you do take a look at some of the items here, I don't like what the Ornn has done. He started with the Doran shield and the one singular health pod, or health potion. What I would like to see from a lot of people who do play Ornn, they will just stick on the refillable and build their Doran shield in lane. It does help them out a lot because it gives them 2 potion charges and also saves them some gold and lets them build their starter item and have a stat advantage too.
Yeah, and I do like the counter invade that PvE did on the top side because they know the enemy team is invading their bot side, so they both should have good vision to know where the junglers are starting here.
Making sure that they know where the Lilia, where the Olaf are at all times is very, very good. We do see both top laners looking to just walk up to their top side. We'll see what pathing this Olaf takes. He is going to start on that red, probably walk down towards his own blue, or walk up towards his own blue, but he is going to go for those Krugs with the new jungle patch.
PvE is going to see the bot lane leashing, so they should know that Olaf is on bot side, and it's pretty well known that Lilia would start at their Raptors. So I do want to see both junglers just going for the full clear, 6 camp into their respective scuttles here.
Definitely. I think that is the play. Nice trading coming on from the bot lane. Esmond is taking a little bit of poke, and that center lane is notorious for that upfront burst.
Yeah, and we should see level 2s coming up here, and good job backing off by Camp, or else they were going to get all in by the Nautilus.
They recognize that they were not ever going to hit level 2 before Esmond and K-God, so they are just looking to wait for that one melee minion to fall. Beautiful penguin dance, but the hook is going to land onto the Thresh. He's going to be flayed backwards, but the Nautilus is able to just walk it out and take a good trade, barely losing anything for a good chunk of Thresh's health.
And it is good to see that Thresh actually played it perfectly. You want to try to play after the hook comes in, and then kind of kite out the Nautilus and even look for a hook after, and just do damage on the end of the trade to try and get even.
Unfortunately, he did not have level 2, so was not able to land that hook. But nice play coming out. Things are looking very, very good. They are skill checking each other right now, looking to see if they can outplay one another in the early game. Beautiful trade on the Yone, taking a lot of damage. The Orianna's already being chunked to just under a quarter HP, or just chunked for about a quarter HP. Does have the Time Warp Tonic, is going to heal that all back up, but that is a corrupting charge down. And it's very good for that Yone to get those trades off because he does have the fleet and the Doran shield, so he is always going to win out on those.
And it is important to point out that both junglers didn't full clear, but did a 5 camp into scuttle, because I guess they were worried about the other jungle trying to contest them, and they will be going back for it. I would have liked to see Olaf actually try and look for Lilia's Raptors there, because he should know that Lilia's bot side and that Lilia started Raptors. So that was a free take for him. Maybe he can look for it next time.
One thing to note, the Gnar did manage to get a good cheater back off, and so did the Olaf, or so did the Ornn. They were both able to walk back to lane without losing very much. They're relatively even in CS, but the Gnar is going to catch this nice wave coming up in the top side.
Yeah, I think after Gnar gets some more stats with his items, he should be able to punish the Ornn more. Right now, their base damage is keeping Ornn in the game right now.
He's able to just stay alive and not let things happen. The Lilia did come down for a gank, was unable to land anything. Nice last embrace from the Senna, stopping that from happening.
Yep, and CS does look pretty even for all the lanes. Senna does have a bit of a lead right now, but that should be cancelled out when their wave shoves in. So it's a completely even game going into the first 4 minutes here.
Things are looking very, very even Steven, as the first Drake is going to spawn in just under 15 seconds. We'll see who will go for the contest here. The Olaf is on the bot side. Lilia, they might spot her out with that red buff ward, but a beautiful last embrace from the Senna, followed up by a hook from the Thresh, play backwards. That Kai'Sa's taking so much damage, forced the flash. The Ignite is not going to be enough. They are able to walk away from that. But beautiful, beautiful last embrace from the Senna, and great follow-up from Wolf Knight.
Yeah. Oh, another engagement across here.
Oh, the hook is going to land, and the Kai'Sa passive is not going to be able to proc. The Invis is going to stop that from happening. But a nice hook again from Wolf Knight is going to keep Esmond from taking another trade.
Yeah, and you can see both bot lanes are just playing a very risky game. Good combos done by both teams. Oh, another hook is going to come across here, actually.
Mata. There he goes. K-God is going to be hooked up, last embrace, but they do realize they are in a low health situation and cannot look for anything more.
Yeah, and good to point out that Olaf is taking the lead that their bot lane has and their mid lane has to try and sneak a dragon over here. Lilia is in the area. We'll see if she's able to come in time, but it does look like Olaf should be able to get it.
Should be able to get that dragon for free. The Lilia might just come down for a
Lilia
gank, though.
walks
There
past
are
her.
no wards there. This might just be death for Wolf Knight. He's taken so much damage from both the Kai'Sa from the Nautilus, and the Plasma proc is not going to land. Flash away, and the Invis is keeping that Senna alive for just a little bit longer. Play backwards. It's going to keep Wolf Knight alive, but he's going to fall in the end. But Olaf is going to try and take some kills. Going to miss the axe. Adderall is able to run away from that one. Great play from Adderall, making sure that they are able to claim up some kills and get away with their lives.
Yeah, Olaf was very close to actually getting a really good counter gank off there, but I think he was just a bit low from the dragon and had to just get out and just barely misses the axe on the Lily at the end.
Very, very, very close axe. If that axe just even tickled that little deer hoof, she dies. It could have been a lot better for MNC, but at least he knew to be there. The intention was there, just unfortunately did not have the execution.
Yeah, exactly. And we see the jungler and the support roaming towards mid here. We'll see if they can make a play happen.
We do see that Lilia spending some nice gold, but a beautiful shockwave, and Hampton is going to get away with the Yone ultimate, is able to run away from that.
Yeah, I really like that use of the Yone ultimate. Usually people just want to use it offensively, but defensively it's such a nice escape tool, and that's exactly what Manton uses to get out of the sticky situation there.
Definitely, definitely. If that Thresh was as big as a whale, that Yone ultimate might have hit him and kept him in spot, but unfortunately that Thresh was not big enough to catch that skill shot.
Yeah. And
Ooh,
Nar's
Vape
gonna
is looking for an
be
engage
straight,
onto
but-
the Ornn, but it's not really going to mean much. Meganar doesn't mean he does a lot of damage, but a nice clap from the Ornn is going to stop that from trade from happening,
Yeah,
and he's going to catch that wave.
Ornn's just able to nullify it with the amount of armor.
Ooh,
that
I
he
like
has.
the itemization from Mr. Ornn. That hook is going to land onto K-God, and Last Embrace is going to follow, but a nice Spider-Man hook onto the wall is going to keep him alive.
Yeah, just a harmless hook there. Yeah, the itemization from Ornn's really good. I like the investment into the Bramble Vest and then getting the Sunfire here. So he's going to be looking very tanky and won't get tied up too much by the Gnar here. Hopefully.
He's also looking very, very strong here. He is looking for a trade here. Gnar does almost have the Mega Gnar, is looking for a nice trade before he does transform, but he's also getting very, very low here. The Ornhorn might just come out here, but the Gnar into the wall is actually going to miss. And here comes the Ornhorn. It might just be enough damage. He is going to miss the Q. Flash forward from Vapus, but he's taking so much damage. And the Dawning Shadow is going to help claim that kill in before Life is able to take that kill up in the top lane.
Yeah, I can see what he was looking for there by trying to flash the Ornelt, but oh, another trick coming across.
Oh, beautiful hook from both the supports here. K-God is very low, but a TP is coming through from the top laner, from the Ornn. But Kai'Sa is going to claim that one with the Plasma stacks. Olaf is just going to run her down. Axe after axe is going to land, but the Nautilus ulti is following through onto the Orianna. It's the Orianna who teleported into her death. She's going to get hooked by K-God. And Fadger is looking in a very bad spot. He has no ultimate, and the Yone is able to claim that one. And that mark means that Olaf was marked for death.
Yeah, and a really just scrappy fight coming along with both mid laners TPing down instantly to make an impact. Orianna tried to TP down to get the kill, but I think she did end up getting an assist.
She got an assist, but TP'd into 3.
Right, yeah, so she ended up dying there. That top lane solo kill actually was really interesting. Gnar tried to make the all-in happen, and Ornn kind of disrespected the Gnar Mega coming across. But that Warnold was not able to be flashed, and that ended up with him dying here.
Oh, in before is looking for a nice trade on the top lane. Kaisa is just tickling that Ornn just a little bit, you know, a love tap there. She does a lot of damage.
Good comms coming across from the team to let them know that Yone is missing from mid, and Ornn can't just sit there face tanking because the mid lane will come in.
They are looking for that early Herald up at the 10-minute mark. Just going to take that. It's a pretty free objective. The Olaf is nowhere in sight, so it is pretty free. They rotated their bot lane up there for it. Gnar is still sitting in that bot lane after that. Nice dive.
Yeah, they saw Ornn backing, so that was kind of just a free ticket for them. We'll see if Camp want to try and reply with the Dragon take and try and build up some vision around here, as they already do have.
Both supports are waiting in the wings for their mid laners, but a jungler is nearby as well. We might see something funny happen. We do see the Thresh looking for something. He's gonna land the hook, and K-God is very, very low and is gonna be taken down by the Olaf. Another axe, and that one went for the head.
Yeah, good vision play by the Thresh over there, and Nautilus just not respecting having no vision in the river over there, and just gets caught out. Not much he can do instead of just not.
He may be Nautilus, but he only has steel caps right now. He's a very, very squishy diver, man.
Exactly, and if he doesn't get his aftershock down, then he's really squishy and can just do one shot like he was there.
Definitely, and the Olaf has enough damage in his kit right now with that Iron Spike whip, with the true damage from the Reckless Swing. He is able to just one-shot that Nautilus.
And we see the full armor-built Ornn facing
Ornn is facing up against the Lilia, taking so much damage already. The sleep is going to be dodged, though, from the Unstoppable. No, it's not, actually. He doesn't have it up. The Ornhorn is going to try and land, but he's not able to proc it because the sleep was not procced in any way, but he's just getting burned down. And Vapus is going to try and take that one. He's going to bounce, not able to claim that one up. It's just going to be a solo kill for a nerf. Adderall up.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Gnar try to get, but,
no, Nautilus landing a beautiful hook, but it is going to be played away. But they don't have any vision on Hondas. Hondas is able to stay alive. K-God is stuck under the tower and is going to be taken down by the threat. Dawning Shadow is going to keep Wolf Knight alive, and Hondas is doing so much, and here comes Badger. He's going to run through. Axe is going to miss, but Asmund is stuck in a bad spot. Beautiful killer instinct to try and keep him alive, but the Olaf is just going to run at him. The Axe is going to land, but he's not going to commit under that tower.
Yeah, and a great disengage and hook into tower from Thresh to grab the kill on the Nautilus. Nautilus just going a bit too far and not able to dodge that last hook and ends up dying. Olaf, good initiative, trying to come into bot and ends up burning Kai'Sa's flash there.
Flash for Ghost, I think that's worth every time.
Definitely. Especially if it's on the ADC. I want to see Thresh try and capitalize with the flash flares or send it with the
they
flash
are
flare.
looking for a dive up in the top side. 3 members. They are just looking for that tower. Can of Tin is just making sure that happens. And this is all just going into the pocket of the Gnar. He's going to be a very, very rich little Yordle.
Yeah, Gnar and Lilia, since she was the one who spawned the Herald. But still really good gold distribution across the board there. We should see Gnar actually going to be kind of overextended here, but not much that Ornn can do.
We do see some item completions coming through. We do see the Kraken Slayer finally finished on that Senna. We will get a soul count very soon. The Kai'Sa's looking in a very strong spot with that Serrated Dirk and Noon Quiver. And item completions are coming through. We do see
Ornn's actually looking to freeze the wave here, which is really nice by him. It means that he won't overextend as he pushes it in.
Ooh, the Divine Blunderer coming through for Vapist. Don't know about that one.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of different kinds of builds on Gnar. The Divine Sundra actually is pretty good into some beefy opponents like he is facing here, and allows him to kite really well against the Ornn lane. So I think it is a pretty good pick. We'll see how he ends up using it. The Stridebreaker buffs still haven't come through yet. Well, adjustment, but I think it's a buff.
Yeah, it's a buff. It's not really an adjustment.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see Gnar still poking around.
Turret plates have fallen, and only a turret up in the top side has been grabbed.
Yep, and just a bit still game until the next dragon.
Oh, the Ornn broke the freeze.
Ooh, yeah, I think he might have been
looking a little antsy for that play onto the Gnar.
Yeah, and with the Sunfire, it is kind of hard to maintain it.
Ooh, they are looking for Nightwolf. He is going to be taken down. He's getting very low, but that Senna invisibility is keeping him alive. Captain is able to take that one. Ignite onto K-God. I think he was trying to ignite Can of Tin, but the Olaf is here to try and make things happen. Reckless Swing coming through. Senna's able to take that one. Another soul for her. And things are looking very interesting. Support for support. In the end, I think it's overall worth for both sides. That Yone is 3-0. He's very, very strong. But the Senna is just as strong at this point. But Adderall's caught in a bad spot. Is forced to flash. The Unstoppable coming through from Olaf. And he's able to take that one. Badger claiming up a kill on Adderall. And Canatin is going to try and run away. The axe is going to go wide. And he is going to be able to walk it out.
Yeah, you hate to see it. People sometimes just get greedy and get stuck in the dragon pit over there. Well, I think he was trying to clear vision, and just a really good catch. Not being able to not being afraid to just use the Orianna ulti and the Olaf ulti to just get the pick over there.
Oh, Vapist has no Mega Gnar, and this is the point where Ornn can actually go in, but he's not trying anything. He's actually just letting that Gnar get away with that.
Yeah, I think Gnar with the Mythic now. This lead is given by the Herald killing that tower and putting some more gold into his pockets. He can kite the Ornn really well, so even if he does face tank a trade, the end of the trade will go really well for him. And Ornn is gonna have a bit of trouble in this lane right now.
Until that Mythic does come through, he is gonna suffer just a little bit.
Yeah, and on top of that, Gnar does have the teleport while Ornn doesn't, so that is going to make a big difference in this upcoming team fight for Dragon, because Ornn is shoved under tower and cannot move, and Gnar can just leave at any time he wants.
The Ornn has to look for the cancel here, but Gnar is exhausted before the Dragon does come up in 12 seconds, so he is not going to have any Mega Gnar built up for this Dragon fight.
Yeah, and they're trying to use the Senna invisibility to try and look for a hook to even out the playing field here. The Dragon is going to spawn, and no immediate moves by either team to try and make an effort to go for the drag yet.
Ooh, we do see the hook try and land onto Canatin. Gonna go wide. Nice try from Nightshade. But Ornn is going in, taking Vapus to half HP, and you don't want to teleport in as a Gnar on half HP.
Yeah, his Mega Gnar should be coming up now, and that is kind of unfortunate because he will be tired for a bit, so we'll see if Bootcamp can try and take advantage of that to try and force something while Gnar can't really go into Mega.
They do have vision of most members of PVE, but the Gnar is exhausted. They are looking for a pick here. They are all converging on that mid lane, and ARAM is very, very true. Yone is going to burn that E, but it's going to be hooked up by the Thresh super early on, and that cooldown's already blown.
Yeah, good job by Thresh not taking the hook. Oh,
Olaf is going in! Reckless Swing doing so much damage to Adderall, and the sleep is going to come through. It's only going to land onto the support, and that's not going to mean anything when the support's already gotten all the CC out, but Can of Tin jumping into the backline, taking down 2. And Pondas is trying his best to do so much damage, but he's just not able to. He is actually going to fall, but Esmond up in the front side doing so much damage. Here comes the TP from the Ornn, and is Esmond going to fall? That is the question. The Ornn is not available. It was used earlier, probably to cancel that TP, and Esmond is going to be able to walk it out. Vapus just chilling up on the top side. TP was burned, so that Ornn was able to stop that from coming through.
Yeah, Ornn able to stop the teleport, and Olaf just initiating the fight by just saying, okay, I'm going to press R and run at you now. And he was able to kill the Lilia, but Kai'Sa jumping into that backline with the Kraken Slayer and just dealing so much damage. And there was a point where Senna, instead of autoing Kai'Sa, she tried to go hard for the Nautilus, and she was able to kill the Nautilus, but got one shot by Kai'Sa while doing that. So I was wondering if that would have made a difference in the fight while the Ornn was TPing, if it was better to focus the ADC instead of support there.
Might have been, because it could have put Esmond in lethal range for before life to take that kill. But it also wouldn't have meant a kill for Hondas, and Hondas is very strong right now, sitting at 3-1, but Esmond is just stronger right now. And this Dragon is going to be claimed up. Hook almost takes it, but very well played.
Yeah, and PVE just getting down to Dragon right after they spawn, getting Prio with really good vision control in the river, and just taking it away from Camp. And because they're red side, it is a bit easier for them to try and just walk into Dragon Pit instead of having to go all the way around. So they were able to get Prio easier like that.
We do see everyone just chilling around that mid lane, other than the Yone. Yeah, both mid laners are sitting down in the bot side right now, but everyone else is hugging that mid lane like it's their mother.
Yeah, and I think hopefully shouldn't be fights coming up soon. We can kind of take a moment to look at the state of the game. PVE 5-1 Yone, 4-1-5 Kai'Sa. Their damage dealers and people who scale well are very fed, They have their first items and do so much damage right now.
They are super strong, but item completions have also come through for most members on the side of MNC. They have the Gordricker on the Olaf, they have the Luden's Tempest on the Orianna, they have that Kraken Slayer on Senna, Chem Tank on the Ornn, looking pretty good. Everyone is in a decent spot right now. Game state is looking relatively even if the gold lead is in the favor of PVE. All first item completions have come through, so their power levels are very similar.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if that was because PvE just haven't backed yet or anything, but despite the kill score being 9 to 10, so many plates were being taken by PvE, and they were able to get 2 towers, which gives them a 4k gold lead, even though they're down a dragon and only have 1 kill. So they do have some more income than Bootcamp, and we'll see. And it is in exactly the right place too, because it's on the mid and the ADC. So in this next team fight, we'll see if they're able to get their second item completions before the camp squad and use that to turn it around.
Both sides have 3 minutes to try and gather their second items, but a beautiful sleep is going to land onto 2, and flash hook from the Nautilus is going to make sure that Senna does fall, and everyone is diving forward, but K-God is going to fall in response to that. ADC for 2, or support for 2 is definitely worthwhile, and K-God being that sacrificial lamb. But there is not much to be gained off of that. Potentially a Baron, but Lilia is heading towards that bot side, so that is not going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's just more kills coming across there, and you can see the power of Yone. He can just press E from behind a wall, dive right inside your tower, get the kills, and pop it right back out. So when played properly, that champion is very effective, and that was really shown in that fight there.
Second item completion is coming through for both AD carries. The Rage Blade on the Senna and the Collector on the Kai'Sa. Both champions are in a very solid spot to carry the game.
Yeah, for sure.
But that Infinity Edge on the Yone is not something to scoff at all. He is in one of the best positions he could be at 21 minutes into the game.
Yeah, it's interesting to see him go straight for the Infinity Edge secondary. There's a lot of different options that Yones could do. He just wants to go for straight damage here. He has a big amount of crit chance, decent attack speed, and he's just going to be able to do so much work in these team fights with that.
He's looking to one-shot, and that's what he was looking, and that's what he did.
Yeah, and on the other hand, the Orianna, it is good to see the Seekers coming through. I really like that against the Gnar, Yone, and the Kai'Sa. A lot of AD damage that can be mitigated. It would be good to see her maybe go for the Zhonya's to try and avoid some of the key abilities that come out from PvE as well.
That is definitely what they should be looking for. I'm surprised I do not see that actual stopwatch sitting in her inventory, but Dragon is spawning up very soon. Maybe she's just waiting to grab that up. I think everyone should be looking to grab some stopwatches here. This is going to be one of the fights that could decide the game.
Yeah, for sure. Getting that Seeker's scaling up earlier kind of makes sense for that decision. Hopefully she should be able to get the stopwatch for the next dragon, as it can really like turn around a fight if used properly.
If they can grab that soul point, it's going to be very strong for them, because they buy themselves another 5 minutes in this game. Because if they have that soul point, that means that PvE has to contest every dragon, and a hook onto K-God K is not going to mean anything, but it was a nice look.
Yeah. And looking at what soul it actually is, this is Mountain Soul, if I'm not wrong, and that's going to give a lot of defenses against such a heavy damage comp that's coming across PvE. So we'll see if the blue side can stack these dragons that are coming up, because they can still get 2 more and get the Mountain Soul. But on the other hand,
we do see the Orianna up in the top side. She is going to start walking down, and I think she needs to be there very soon, because this Drake is up in 5 seconds.
Yep, she does have the TP. Yeah, she needs to be there really quickly. Same concept with the Gnar. I don't want to see PvE starting yet anytime soon, because Gnar is still split pushing. But the blue team should be incentivized to look for an engage here, because they are not matching Gnar's split push right now.
They also do have the numbers advantage, and they do have some vision on some of the wards, but the Ornhorn is going to follow through. It's going to go wide, is going to score a field goal, but the Nautilus is going to ult just the 2 tanks, so that doesn't mean anything. They're taking so much damage. Yone is able to land a beautiful ultimate. K-God K is going to be able to take down Yasuo on the backside of that, but Canatin is very low, but he's sustaining so much with that Immortal Shield, though he's able to live for so long, and maybe a little bit of Grievous Wounds could have helped that.
Yeah, and decent look at an engage, but they were able to run away from the Orneld and come back in. We'll see if Gnar can catch Senna here. Not going to happen.
The hop is going to fail.
Yeah.
But this is a
and
Drake.
PVE will pick up this dragon here. Yeah, I think like their damage dealers just weren't able to get killed by the initial engage because the Ornalt was used first, and then their primary engage, other than that, was going in. They didn't have that extra layer of CC to try and kill off the carries, and that allowed Kai'Sa and Yone to stay alive and still deal that damage. And Gnar was actually able to grab the top tower and then still TP in time, and they were still able to get dragons. So really big for PvE.
They got
here.
everything they wanted. The shopping list is coming to a close soon for PvE. They already have 2 Mountain Drakes, so they are in a very, very strong spot right now. But there is a lot of true damage to worry about, and mixed damage to worry about too. So resistances should start coming through. Especially in the second items, we do see that Sterax Gauge coming for the Gnar, the Zonias for the Lilia, and maybe even a Guardian Angel for the Yone. He is sitting on a stopwatch in Kothar.
Yeah, for sure. And this is also around the time that Orin's going to start getting his ornaments up. You can see he has his camp tank already. I do want to see him putting the ornaments onto the Kraken Slayer as soon as possible so that Senna can start dealing mad damage in the next team fight.
Definitely. He is level 14, so he has access to 1 or an item for his teammates. So I want to see that Worm Fallen on the Senna. But K-God might just be caught out here. He's going to burn the locket trying to stay alive. He's going to land that ultimate, but it doesn't mean anything when he gets hooked up and flayed up. But Vapus is here to join the fight. The hook is going to go wide, Spider-Manning onto a wall, but a double sleep is going to land. Orn is stuck building an item. What are you doing? This could just be a beautiful Gnar from him into the wall. Vapus is able to land a 3-man, and Yone is able to take this one. Orn takes no damage, but when there's 5 people wailing on you, you are going to fall. And down he goes.
And honestly, Nautilus did get caught out there, but they're just so ahead. And the Narbar was at such a perfect state that they were able to get a Lilia sleep into a huge Gnarled and the stunned Gnar to get a beautiful finish to the team fight.
Beautiful play from
See Yone
Vapus, but
here.
Yone's going in under the tower. He's doing so much damage. He has the level 13, and that mark is going to take that kill. Orianna was marked for death too.
Yeah, the Yone is just so strong right now. The E damage, you can see he did max it second, so he has the maxed out E, which does so much damage at the end that people just do not expect. He was just able to kill Orianna in the tower, simple as that, even though the Seekers was there on the break.
She does finish that Zonia's Hourglass and has the Oblivion Orb. I think it's a little too late for that to come through. I think as soon as they saw that first team fight not go very well with that Yone sustaining almost all of their damage, they should have just built Grievous Wounds on the Senna, on the Orianna. But too little too late, I think, at this point.
Yeah, I think at this point they have a 10k gold lead, and it would take a miracle for Bootcamp to make a comeback here. What has been successful for them so far is trying to look for picks. They have been able to find Nautilus a bunch of times while he was looking for Vision, so I want to see them try and look for picks with Thresh Hook and Olaf running at them as a follow-up, and the Sentinels coming through. But yeah, we'll see what they can do. It is 2 dragons to 2, so they could hopefully try and get the last 2 drakes to help them seal their win.
One thing to note, the Ornn was building an item in the middle of that fight. He was building the Kraken Slayer upgrade, the Wormfallen Sacrifice, and I don't think that item made very much of a difference, in my opinion. It just ended in the death of his entire team.
Wow, Kraken Slayer upgrade's called the Wormfallen Sacrifice.
Yep.
But yeah, I know it is important to get it before the fight, but during the fight maybe was a misclick.
It probably was a misclick. He was probably pathing towards the middle of the fight, but ended up clicking Senna, and he wasn't in combo, so that forced him to start building that item, and he was not able to cancel it in time.
Yeah, do you know if you're able to cancel it?
You are able to cancel it. If
I
you
see.
put in a couple movement commands, you are able to cancel it. So I don't think he realized that in time. But Yasuo has taken so much damage, the shockwave is going to stop him from falling. But that's a cooldown
Yone
burn.
just hurts. That E cooldown is not very long, so you can keep looking to do that again. He has so much movement speed to run at the Orianna, and she can't even sit under her own tower anymore.
He also has the Guardian Angel, so he can look for dives every day of the week right now. And not have to worry about death in any way. Oh no, Ornn is going to be caught up. Is forced to flash. Is going to call the Ornhorn, but the Ornhorn is too little too late. That goat is trying to do his best. The Dawning Shadow is keeping him alive for so long, and the Thresh is able to hook up Faith. Faith is able to land a nice Gnar. That Sterax is doing so much work, but everyone is trapped in the middle of 5, and 3 are going to fall. The Kai'Sa could follow through. Is going to jump into the back line, going to take out the Senna, and that just means a lost team fight. It was a good look,
Yeah,
but it was too little too late. But Yone's just starting to end the game. This could be
Honestly,
it,
that
folks.
was a pretty good fight considering how far blue team is behind. But red team still has the advantage here, and because the Senna is dead, they're going to be just looking to take everything at this point.
They have the wave clear, but they don't have the range anymore. The Orianna
That is
has
true.
nice wave clear, but no range without that Senna.
Yep, and the Mountain Dragon has spawned up. It looks like PvE is just going to go ahead and grab that one really quick. That's going to be 3 Mountain Dragons, and it's going to make them so tanky. And it's kind of going to be hard for Olaf to try and do any damage in these fights. Orianna and Senna do scale well, so I think they'll have a decent time. But Olaf is getting to the point where he's just going to meatball at this point.
The turbocharged experiment is coming for the Ornn. He has that. So, I mean, that's something, right? I don't think it's enough to save the game, but, I mean, at least they're trying. At this point, I think they need to figure out what went wrong with this game, maybe plan a little bit. But it could happen. The comeback is possible, but they do need to try and get some of those Drakes. Now, it's 3 Mountain Drakes for PvE. They let those 2 early game Drakes fall in exchange for 3 in the late game. But some of the champions are just going to stop doing things, especially that Olaf. And I think overall, every champion on the side of PvE is going to be useful as this late game does close in.
Yeah, you can see that Yone, he has the Guardian Angel, and Kai'Sa sitting on 4 items now, as opposed to 3 items on the Senna. The main problem with this is that all their kills are for PvE are in the right place. They're exactly where you want them to be, and at this point, it's so hard for them to try and get onto that back line. You would need a really good Ornald with Olaf getting a really good engage, and even then, Kai'Sa might just kill him while face tanking his damage. So their comp is behind, and it's hard to play against them. We'll see what they can do to try and maybe look for something to turn around.
Triple Mountain Drake with a Zhonya's Hourglass makes that Kai'Sa incredibly tanky against the main damage sources from the side of MNC. So it's a very scary thing to worry about here. Kai'Sa has that hybrid damage now. She has the Nash's Tooth, has the Zhonya's, and is building towards a death cap. So that magic damage is coming through for her.
Yeah, Nara's walking in willy-nilly.
Oh, the Ornhorn is going to come through onto the Lilia, but it's going to go wide. And K-God is stuck in the middle, but here comes the Yone joining him in the back line. He'll do so much damage. The Dawning Shadow is trying, but that mark is going to mean Esmond's going to take that kill. And everyone is falling. Everything is falling to pieces. Moon Crew, they're going to crash land back on Earth. They're falling from the sky, and this fight is over.
Yep, and the Quadra coming across for Kai'Sa at the end there. Sadly not able to get the
No Penta. Canatin, man, took that one. No Penta. But overall, well played from PV. They take game 1 in commanding fashion. They played the game well. They constantly had leads, and they just pushed it to their advantage.
Yeah, for sure. Really well played, honestly, by both teams. That one team fight allowed PvE to get ahead, and they were able to escalate that lead really well and not let Mooncam get a foot back into the game.
Definitely. They did what they had to. They were able to stop Mooncamp from getting those further Drakes. They were able to maintain leads by giving up those Drakes. They made sure they got those Rift Heralds, they got those plates, they got a bunch of CS leads throughout the entire game. They played it very, very well. A nice, clean game. What more can you say?
Yeah, honestly. Also, I just want to say throughout that entire game, the CSing was also very good from PvE. Even before the fights, their mid and ADC were accruing small CS leads that allowed to get some breakpoints in items, I'm sure. And the Yone and Kai'Sa were just piloted really well. You can see Yone just killing the enemy mid under tower, and Kai'Sa doing so much work in these team fights, just one-shotting people too.
Definitely. It was a great game from almost everyone. Other than K-God getting caught out a couple of times, but that doesn't matter when you're tanky in the late game. He had one blunder up in the early game, but hey, I think his team more than made up for that.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, and also another shout out to the Gnar. He played it really well. He didn't get caught out by Olaf any of the times, even though he's pushed in a lot. He did a good job with his lead. He was a real menace in the top lane, getting towers and still TPing into fights to make a difference. So
Hmm.
yeah, really well played by PVE in the first game.
Good tracking, making sure they knew where that Olaf was for majority of the games, trading objectives for CS, trading objectives for plates. They were just overall playing the map very, very well. And yes, getting two Drakes is a scary, or giving up two Drakes is a scary thought, but if you are able to, make sure you can convert those two Drakes, two missed Drakes into advantages. Overall, it can be worth. And they proved that giving up those two early game Drakes is very, very worth if you're able to get plates, if you're able to get kills, if you're able to get objectives up in the other side of the map.
Yeah, and also just a shout out to the Thresh on Windcamp. Although they were behind, he was doing really well with the vision. He ended up with I think 84 vision score, um, which is really hard to do while behind because it's so hard for you to walk up
Mm-hmm.
against a Nautilus who could just catch you out with Kaisa coming in from nowhere. So yeah, good vision, and they were able to look for some picks with that. But on the other hand, PVE just had some really good team fighting.
One thing to note that Thresh did have 12 of the 14, or 12 kill participation out of 14, so he was very, very strong there. He tried his best, but it just wasn't enough, unfortunately.
Yep, that is a
So we are going to set it over to a quick break while you guys can vote for player of the game. We'll be right back with game number 2 and a little post-game discussion. We'll see you guys in just a couple minutes. Make sure to vote, and sorry for everyone who did vote for Mooncrew for game number 1, but you might have a chance at redemption in game number 2. We'll see you guys in just a bit.
I've been right here for a long time. I've seen your dreams in the night sky. You know I want you to be mine. But you won't make it that easy. You're not the type to fall in deep. You know that really want me. We're on our own, take a risk now. Just let it go and don't fall down. I hope you know that my heart is yours. Never let go.
Good, everyone. So it is going to be Mr. Can of Tin up in the mid lane, in the middle of everything, as your player of the game. He played that fine line of aggression and made it work. He was able to make sure he didn't die very much, and overall played it very, very well. And that's what you want to do on a champion like Yone, feast or famine, and he feasted.
Yeah, for sure. Like he just got solo kills in the mid lane. He was putting on so much pressure, walking up forward and making the other team having to respond to him in both the mid lane and the side lanes later on. So really well played by him.
He was also there for all of the team fights that mattered. He just was there, landing some great ultimates onto 3-4 man. He was just diving onto the entire backline, followed up by a Nautilus. He was the primary engage. Can of Tin just played that fine line of inting or carrying very, very well. And I want to see more out of him. Picks like the Yone, picks like the Yasuo. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the Wind Brother show off game number 1, but maybe we'll see it game number 2, or they might just ban it away.
Yeah, so I think let's just head straight into the draft here as we're ready for game number 2. See what comes
Definitely.
up.
PVE taking the early lead, and we'll see if they are able to maintain this as game number 2 comes to a head.
Yep, and coming across again with the Swain ban like they did last time. We'll see if Mooncamp again go for the power picks like the Udyr, the Seraphine, and if PvE will continue to focus the target bans, and it looks like that's what it's going to be.
MNC taken away. The Udyr, they don't want to see that bear running at Mach 10 towards any of their carries. Another Rek'Sai ban. I think they're sticking with the same thing.
Stuff. Yeah, don't need to fix what's not broken. We'll see if Mooncamp want to change anything though to ban out any power picks like the Kai'Sa or the Yone.
No Malphite.
Yep,
Same thing.
sure.
Run it back, run it back. We'll see if it is going to be a salty run back. See if it does come
It
through.
looks like it is so far.
Bans are definitely a salty run back, but we'll see. Oh, it is. Thresh is going to be taken from PVE. Ooh, followed by an instant lock set Kai'Sa.
Yeah, Kai'Sa, again, such a flexible champion, did great work in the last game. And Set is also a great flex. You can put it into multiple lanes. So I like the picks coming out from Mooncamp here. And the Thresh, if it's a comfort pick for you, then Thresh is an amazing champion. So we'll see what they end up getting for their second and third picks. They should be picking up their ADC and the jungle.
We'll see if Hondas is able to pilot that Kai'Sa as well as Esmond was in game number 1. But overall, great draft so far from MNC. They take some power picks away very early on. And we'll see if PvE is going to match that. They are going to pick up the Xayah. Xayah Thresh is a very powerful lane now. And Xayah has been seen as a decent answer into the Kai'Sa because she does have that very high burst damage with her with her feathers, just shredding through anyone's health bar.
Yeah, a Xayah Kai'Sa matchup has just been such a famous one for the past few years, honestly. And a Lily, you have a really good blind pick jungler that you want to pick up really quick. We'll see if it's answered by the Olaf again, or if they want to go for something different that might do better into the Lilia. Because the Olaf, there was that one fight where he just ran up to her and killed her. But other than that, I didn't see too much of an impact from him. We'll see if he's able to go for another champion or just play more proactively with the Olaf in the early game to try and get fed some.
I definitely think it will be a lot harder to gank that bot lane now, especially since it has that peel from the Thresh, and Xayah has some self peel with her E with her ultimate. But an Olaf can make that non-existent. But it is going to be a Gragas, and that can be used as a flex pick.
Yeah, Gragas primarily is being a top laner these days, but can be flexed into the jungle.
Also a support as well.
That is true. Yeah, the Set and Gragas are so interchangeable here, and they can go anywhere they want. So we'll see what bans they end up coming across. It should be pretty hard to ban against bootcamp here because you don't know where their champions are going.
They do have a very flexible draft, and I think that is a good pivot. But they do ban away the Caston again. No Caston for Can of Tin today.
Yep, the Cassidon ban. We'll see if they also want to ban away the Yone, as it was a real menace to deal with last time.
It was definitely a menace, and it was very scary. He was their primary engage, surprisingly, especially considering how the champion works. But it is going to be a Rengar ban. No Bush Cheeses.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to call the bluff that neither Gragas or Set are going to be the jungle.
Talent. So it is actually a Talon ban, not a Rengar ban. So it was just a misclick. We are going to consider this a Talon ban. The Gnar is going to be taken away.
Yep, so Talon ban coming across, I believe that was also done last time. They don't want him on the comfort pick of the Talon.
No
and
Gnar.
the Gnar being taken away, which was definitely hard to deal with on the side lane, so it's
also
out of the way this time.
Playing that very well. Both solo laners just playing the game out incredibly well. I think everyone on the side of PVE played game number 1 very, very well. No complaints there, but no win, brother. Yasuo.
Yeah, no Yasuo.
I would have
That is
loved to see the Win
interesting.
brother battle. It would have been
Yeah,
so
because-
amazing. But it is going to be my favorite champion, Aurelia, picked up for Moon.
Yeah, Irelia is such a strong champion right now. Most likely will be
But
going
Camille
into that
is
mid
up.
lane.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah. Do you think a Camille mid would work in the situation?
I think
Because it
Camille
I don't think Irelia
should go wherever Aurelia goes, in my opinion. If you see an Aurelia, you pick the Camille and just suffer the early game, but hard outscale the champion.
Yeah,
Because yes, Camille does do not so great into the Aurelia in the early game, but if you just don't int, it's fine. But it is going to be the Yone picked up once again, and it's probably
yeah,
going to be...
Yone and Irelia is going to be a super volatile matchup. I want to see both junglers and both supporters trying to look for roams into there, because whoever gets it ahead, the other character will have a really hard time playing the game.
One thing to note about the Aurelia-Yone matchup, Yone loves to fight champions who can't start fights on their own terms. But you know who's very good at starting fights on her own terms? Aurelia. So it's a very good answer. And we'll see if Yasuo is able to play that very well. But it is going to be a blind Aatrox. Or maybe not a blind Aatrox, we'll see. But Aatrox...
Well, it's either going to be into Set or Gragas,
Yeah.
most likely.
Overall, it is going to be the Renekton. That Crocodile coming in for Vapus.
Yeah, I really like Renekton, a super strong pick in the early game, and you can bully with it again, similar to how the Gnar was. So Vapus is looking to take things into his own hands and try and make it a top get.
Gragas definitely does have the ability to outscale the Renekton, but a Lissandra pick coming through, so it is either Gragas or Set in the jungle, and the Aurelia up in the top lane.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that champion come up. We'll see if this traditional, very CC heavy champion can do work. Definitely add some more range into Mooncamp's lineup. You can see that Kaisa has very short range, the others are all melees, so I think the Lissandra is definitely needed. If it does get piloted well, there's so many opportunities to look with so many different engage options for Moonkamp.
They also have the ability to stop the Yone in his tracks as he jumps into the entire team. It's point and click. You also have a reactable W. You have a reactable root and a nice prison to stop people from moving. But apparently it is a Lissandra top going into the Renekton. I don't know how that's going to fare, but
yeah,
we shall see.
honestly, not much to say about the Lissandra. I'm sure we both haven't faced it anytime recently, but we do know it is technically a ranged versus melee, which gives Lissandra some space to work with. And if Renekton looks for an engage, Lissandra can W, she can E away, and Renekton can't beat that huge presence in lane that you usually see against other melee top laners.
Definitely see Renekton just being a menace, but there are definitely champions that can neuter him, like the Quinn, and potentially the Lissandra. We'll see if that works out.
Yeah, I think they do fulfill a similar role in that regard. Lissandra can have insane shoving, as long as their mana pool does allow it. So Renekton can't get that push and look for roams as easily. So might be a quick little counter that they must have cooked up.
And the counter could work. I definitely see it having the ability to shut down a Renekton. But
Yeah.
Lissandra, once again, she is a squishy champion. Not.
And my guess is it should be Gragas jungle set support coming in here.
That's what I would expect here. I definitely think Set functions a little bit better as a support than as a jungler right now, especially because he has access to the chem tank. He's able to run at things very, very fast, move at Mach 10, and punch things very, very hard.
Yeah, and because looking at the top matchup, we do understand that Alessandra will get that shove and has really good CC. Gragas is a very gank heavy jungler, and I want to see him being very proactive, looking at top and looking at mid. And you can see mid, both melee matchup, is going to have them be pushed up, and it's not as easy to sit back when compared to being on a mage. So Gragas can definitely go in there and punish and set up a CC chain to get Irelia affected.
Definitely. But one thing to note is the top side is double AP, so if I would like to see Vapus take the double MR for that early game, because it is going to be very rough, and I think the Gragas should try and put down the Crocodile. He should stop Vapus from getting strong, and I think that's going to help things. So I think Vapus should, bow down a little bit, realize that he should take some MR. It is going to be very scary, because Renekton needs to get ahead in order to be a useful champion.
Yeah, and on the other hand, if PVE do play well, Lilia outpaces Gragas so hard. That's why you see her in competitive a lot more than Gragas. Gragas can keep up with that jungle camp clear. Lilia is faster, and she'll be very healthy as well. And she'll be able to steal so many camps away from the Gragas and just run away.
Definitely. I think the Lilia is a very, very fun champion to play. I'm not very good at her, mind you, but she's very, very fun. Her playstyle is very unique. And she's just a fun champion to watch.
Yeah, and it looks like in the chat we've got a poll point for which Thresh skin they want to go to.
Okay.
Yeah. My vote's on the High Noon. I think it has some very nice chromas. We'll see which one ends up coming across.
I think High Noon is amazing. Spirit Blossom is also very nice. But personally, I like that Gothic style. It's pretty interesting. I like the skull. And I like the flames. It's very, very nice. And it would be very nice, especially if the Aurelia does pick up the High Noon skin as well. It could be a clash of the Noons. But I think overall, High Noon is just really, really nice. It's very pretty. And it has beautiful particles. But Darkstar is up there too.
Darkstar also has the custom dance. That's why I do like to use it. Excited to see which one comes through. So we've talked about the top lane matchup and the jungle one. Mid, in my opinion, is going to be just a huge skill matchup.
Definitely.
Can use this third Q? Can he use his E to dodge the Irelia stun? And how well can Irelia combo with her passive and use that W to nullify damage? It's going to really just come down to the better player here.
There is actually a lot of damage for the Aurelia to nullify throughout this entire game, especially since there is a Yone, Yazaya, and a Renekton. She can mitigate a lot of that upfront burst that the comp of PvE is very reliant on.
Yeah, for sure. And because of that, Irelia can actually be set up really well with the Gragas too, because if he lands the E into an R and Irelia can properly get her stun off that, it's actually just a free kill and there's not much Yone can do about it.
Yone is very squishy, especially in that early game, and if he's shut down, it's even harder for him to play it out. Yeah,
for sure. And also just looking at the stats in the Irelia versus Yone matchup, Irelia is actually 49% win rate, so I think at a higher level, if both champions do play to their best, Yone might just come out a bit at the top with just coming with the edge on the damage output that they can both put out. But we've all seen the clips of Irelia getting 5 stacks and just healing like crazy. So we'll see if Yone knows how to play against that Irelia passive. I think, just having champion knowledge is just a huge component of the play.
Definitely. And if Yasuo is able to pilot this Aurelia well, I do think it can be Aurelia favored, but it's up to the Aurelia to play well. The Yone does have the advantage of scaling very, very well into the late game, and Aurelia does not have that.
Yeah, for sure. scaling is definitely something to watch out for. What do you think the scaling advantage actually comes out to in the end here?
Personally, I think it very much goes for the side of PvE. I think Xayah overall has a higher damage output than the Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa's damage is very upfront, especially with the Hail of Blades build, and Xayah is able to just constantly output with her huge attack speed buff with her feathers constantly flying. But once again, she can get shut down very, very easily. There's a lot more tools for MNC to shut down carries, especially with point and click from the Lissandra and a lot of nice setup from a Gragas set. So they have ways to shut down the scaling factor from PvE, even if it does go to very, very late game. So scaling
Another
edge,
thing I
yes.
do want to point out is that like you don't really see much engage coming across other than the thresh hook from the side of PvE, which could be a problem for them. Just having engage and being able to force fights on your own terms is just really important. And you can see Mooncamp having Lissandra, Gragas, Irelia that set engage with Kai'Sa follow-up. Like, that is really good for them to be able to pick out winning fights and just force it, right? But on the other hand, PvE, they have a Thresh Hook, Lilia looking for a Flash Q ulti maybe, Yone going into E. It's all like very iffy kinds of engages. So we'll see if that can be capitalized from Mooncamp as well.
Definitely. I think PvE has to look for flanks in order to get those engages off, in order to get that Renekton stun onto key targets. It is going to be all about the flank. Playing out of pockets of vision.
Just taking a quick look at the bot lane before we get into game 2. I do like the Thresh versus Set matchup pretty well. I think you can kite it out similarly to how you do with the Nautilus. But Kai'Sa Set is also still a very good combo to stack the Plasma passive on Kai'Sa. So we'll see what ends up going on here. We saw Esmond get the better of Hondu's last game, but we'll see if the revenge can be taken or the cap will still be had.
Definitely. So predictions are open in case anyone does want to drop some tokens in. Overall, both teams have great drafts coming into game number 2, just like game number 1. So it is just going to be skill matchups here, and we'll see if that does carry over. We'll see you guys in just a bit as the game does load in. Take care, guys. We'll see you in just a few seconds.
I saw you smile from across the bar. Yeah, she was pretty and so close but so far. She flipped her hair and I thought this can't be true. How does a man like me get someone like you? And then she looked at me and I was confused. Everyone here can't be the one that she'll choose. And I looked back and saw the spark in her eyes. This can't be real, my head's telling me lies. Just like that, you're coming closer to me. Come shake me, grab me, so I wake up from this dream. I can't breathe, come at me. I don't know if I can speak. Then she said, come with me and let's be free. The night is young and I think this could go far. The sky is dark but you're my shooting star.
Sorry. Welcome back, folks. Here we are. Game number 2 happening. PvE. Once again, looking for some nice shenanigans, this time in the top side. But
Yeah, and we'll see if Lissandra does end up getting caught out here. She is walking up. Thresh is leading here, so good invade strategies.
they know. Oh, the hook does land after the flash follow. Beautiful from K-God, doing so much work. The Dark Harvest is going to be claimed up, and this is just a dead Lissandra, and Yone gonna claim that one with the Ignite. Beautiful
Yeah, an
flash follow.
amazing ult by
Oh,
Thresh over there.
that's what you want to see from a Thresh.
Yeah, really big moves coming across, and that kill goes onto the Yone into such a volatile matchup. So we'll see if Yone can take advantage of this and get a big lead in his lane coming off in that first split.
If I was the Aurelia, I'd be saying open.
Yeah, so he has a longsword and another potion. So that's a deep blade longsword 3 pots against a corrupting potion in lane.
That just feels horrible.
Yeah, on the other end, the red side was able to get a few wards into the jungle and try and make the best of
Oh,
that situation.
And there is another pause coming through at a minute 30.
Yeah, looks like we're just dealing with some lag. The main, another really cool thing I want to point out is that Set has Omni Stone here, which is a really interesting path. We'll see if he can make good use out of it instead of taking something like the Phase Rush or even the Aftershock.
He is starting off with Summon Airy, and that's not the summoner you really want as the set, but... Or, sorry, not the summoner, but the Ruin that you would want as the set, but we'll see if he makes it work. Omnistone does give him access to a lot of nice ruins, though. Gives him access to the Aftershock, gives him access to the Phase Rush. We'll just see if they come online when they need to.
Yeah, for sure. You see Set starting on the bot side, but Lilia is starting on the top side of the red jungle. And we'll see if Irelia can point out that Renekton's path into lane was from the red jungle, and that means that Lilia has started in the enemy's top side, and we'll see if Gragas has the awareness to go into vertical jungling here.
One thing to note is there was a lane swap initiated from the top laner and mid laner. Oh, not a lane swap, sorry, but a champ. Oh no, not. I'm just trolling right now.
It is a lane swap, yeah.
Yeah. But we do see things just happening pretty normally for both sides. Renekton and Aurelia. Wait, oh yeah, it is a lane swap. I'm blind. Let me fix that on my overlay. Okay, Yasuo up at the top lane and B4. Oh, Nighthawk from K-God once again up in the early game. He is landing from Nighthawk's, but Aurelia is forced to flash already. Oh, that is not what you want to see.
Because they weren't level 2 yet, not much could be made out of the hook, but we'll see if he can find that when they get a few more levels. I could end up in some explode.
Definitely. We do see some nice trades happening in the mid lane. Lissandra making big use, but beautiful face breaker from the set, doing so much damage to K-God. Plaza proc is not going to land, but overall that trade is very, very worthwhile.
Yeah, and good job by the Gragas getting the vertical jungling down. This means that the red side can push bot all they want, and Irelia has to be careful with no flash because there won't be much help to her anytime soon.
That is not where you want to be, especially into the Renekton. He is a very, very strong champion. But the Gragas is here. Nice flash face breaker and nice flash body slam. Everyone is just flashing onto K-God and he's just going to fall.
Yeah, beautiful comboing. They're not afraid to blow their sums, and they trust each other to combo everything perfectly and get the kill. There's not much Thresh could have done there since he doesn't have flash. And Zaya actually ends up blowing her flash too. So that is no sums in that bot lane, which means they could be even punished even more now.
Everyone is burning their flash, and it is something I love to see. It is a very, very bloody match, and it's great.
Yeah, and on top of that, that's a big wave shoved in that everything that Zaya missed. So it is 26 to 12 CS already for the Kai'Sa. That is a really big difference.
If you look at the wave state on top side, it is not where you want to be, especially as a flashless Aurelia.
Yeah, Renekton freezing it while having the vertical jungling, making him the strong side, makes it so dangerous for the Aurelia. We'll see if Lilia wants to do something after taking these Raptors to try and circle around to try and punish the Lilia, the Aurelia. But Lilia doesn't have too many gank options. She does have the flash, so we'll see if she can do something with that. She is not a Gragas though, so you cannot just force instantly and get a kill like he did.
I do think Badger does have to bail his Aurelia out, otherwise she's just going to continue bleeding gold. She's already down 12 CS, and it's not looking very, very good for her.
Yeah, and on top of that, it is a Renekton. Aurelia cannot just walk up free even if her jungler is there. So we'll see if Gragas takes the initiative to try and help out the top laner, because it is looking like a very dire situation there.
She is just bleeding gold, and this matchup is very unplayable from behind. But beautiful from the Badger, but Badger's gonna get caught out. He may look like a honey badger, but he's gonna fall. And Ignite was burned for that one. Yone taking that kill up in the mid lane, but Flash Hook once again from K-God landing. Lantern is a little wide, not going to bring Adderall into that fight, but it does force
Yeah.
the Flash from in before life.
And just beautiful thrush plays coming across, forcing the flash out to Lissandra. Also, they had really good vision coverage by the dragon, and they saw Gragas trying to get the Raptors and were able to roam and capitalize on it, even though they didn't have the best wave prio. And this does end up in them getting the dragon now, so really good plays coming across the TV.
One thing to note, Asmund did take that call. He realizes he's just going to be farming it out now. He's not playing the strongest side. He is weak side right now, but he's just going to take it for what it is. And
I
scale
did
up.
like to see that coming across, because you know you're not going to win many fights against the Kaisa right now. She's permanently going to be ahead of you. So it's good to just try and get some gold income and just try and farm it out, you know?
So we do see the Gragas first building the Ionian Boots of Lucidity. That's a very nice buy. Ooh, Flay almost landed, and that could have been another kill. Or could have been a kill.
Yep.
But I do think they are too far behind. They don't have the combat stats to actually make good use of that hook.
Yeah, and
that
Greg
flay.
is finally coming top. Aurelia is finally able to get access to some minions. It was 56 to 19
Oh,
CS.
that's painful.
And now Aurelia is trying to get some stuff back.
Yasuuf not in the greatest position right now. But Set is channeling that Hex Flash and is looking for a play. Is not going to go for it, however.
Yeah, and it looks like...
Oh, K-God might be caught out, taking a decent amount of damage, but a nice hook lands, and he's going to be rooted up, taking a lot of damage, but that Haymaker is going to stop that Xayah damage from following through.
Yep, and because they tried to damage the Set, he just tanks damage really well, creates a lot of pressure. They are able to make the best out of it, even though they were getting hooked.
Oh, they're just threatening. Gragas is nowhere in sight, but that just provides pressure, and they think Gragas is nearby. Oh, Canoptin taking a very, very bad trade, but he does have that Vamp Scepter, so he is just looking for opportunities because he is going to win out in the sustain game.
Yeah, and you can kind of see what Lissandra does. She just pushes it in repeatedly, and as soon as Yone tries to go in with the E, she just snares him and walks away. So, really good counter pick coming across here, and there's not much Yone can do. He can't look for roams or anything because he can't leave his tower.
Looking pretty nice. Atlasan just playing it very well, but a nice play. But the Face Breaker is going to land onto two, and both champions are taking so much damage. Esmond is already ignited up, and here comes the Predator Gragas. Is he going to land the Body Slam? He's going to fail the Flash, but the R is going to land. The Explosive Blast is doing so much damage. Smite it up, but it's not going to mean anything. K-God is going to live on a sliver of HP. Ignite is going to come out, though.
Yeah, and really great play from the Thresh there. He actually flayed Gragas in a way that the E-Flash didn't end up connecting. Ideally, the E-Flash at least hits one of them and they're able to get a kill, but there was no chain CC that was able to come across, and that's just a flash blown for nothing because of really good play from PVE.
Well played from K-God, but in before is stuck in a bad situation in the mid lane. Jungler is nearby, and he cannot contest that Herald.
Yeah, for sure. We do see Xayah still down in CS though, even though they were able to beat the plate, they still can't really contest. It's currently Berserker Greaves to a Noon Quiver and a Pickaxe, so not much that can be done in Paul.
And Kai'Sa's one of those champions you don't want to walk up towards, especially with that Hail of Blades. Yes, Xayah outscales, but you need time and you need items. And right now,
Yeah.
you don't have them.
Yeah, and I do want to point out that Gragas, even though he can't really match the Lilia speed, and he's been looking for ganks, he's still staying on top of the CS game and not falling too far behind. And I don't see Lilia trying to take advantages with their clear speed, and I want to try and see her make an edge out of that, because Gragas is just going to keep getting better at ganking as the levels come across, and he's just going to be more useful than Lilia that way.
The 40 CS lead in the top lane, Vapist is doing a good job of taking advantage of that flash that Aurelia had to burn early. It's just constantly rising, but the bot lane might look for a play. They are just going to walk away from each other. Things are looking nice.
And also just looking at like what kind of item buys come across. Aurelia is down 40 CS still, but her items aren't as bad as it looks for the Xayah. So it isn't as bad of a situation where, oh, we see a mid gank.
Oh, Badger looking for something. Gonna be stunned up though. Canatin is looking to get away, but the flash forward from Lysandra is going to guarantee this kill. Yone is trying his best, but the support does come through just in time. Keep him alive, and Asmund is going to fall for the sins of his supports. Badger is still alive up in the mid lane, and they are going to be able to walk it out. Beautiful body slam is going to keep him alive. Bape is stuck in the middle of 3, but he is a Renekton. He is very tanky. Ignite coming through, and he's going to be pulled back, and the stun coming through from the Aurelia. The Flawless Duet, and here comes the Vanguard's Edge, and Bape is going to fall, but oh, Yasuo flashing way too late, and Adderall is here to maybe claim up a kill in the bot side. Flash backwards, but the Drowsy's going to come through. Thresh is there to make sure that it happens. K-God is going to make it happen. The Ignite is going to take that kill. Oh, Wolf Knight is going to take that with the Haymaker, but here comes the Gragas. They might just be able to dive this Thresh. Yone is waiting there in the wings to protect him, though.
Yeah, and just a crazy fight coming across, starting with 2 concurrent fights in mid and bot, and then ending up with everyone just coming across the bot. Lilia actually was able to get away, but tries to greed for the kill and ends up dying to the Haymaker instead.
Oh, and the Yone didn't even die. He
Yeah,
lived.
and that did the Lysandra at the start, I think.
She was able to get away. So both mid laners do manage to live. It was mostly fights on the bot side that determined where the kills went. But the Yone was able to stay alive with that singular Vamp Scepter. It was enough.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that really Vamp Scepter is just really good. You usually see people going for the Noon Quiver first, but getting that Vamp Scepter in lane just allows you to eat the trades from Lysandra. And we actually see Herald being used mid. I think it's just about to run out. They're just gonna get some plates here. Oh, Set caught out.
Uh-oh. Is going to be caught out by the hook. Is going to be caught out by the Swirl Seed as well. And he's taking so much damage, but that Haymaker is buying so much time for his team to get their flash body slam into the Cask. Is going to do so much damage to Adderall, but he's so fast. But the Yone ulti onto 3 is going to make sure that everyone stays in place. But Lysandra is able to stay alive with her Glacial Prison, keeping her nice and cozy and untargetable.
Yeah, you can see how much pressure Lysandra soaks up by being in the middle of everything, and then just ulting and providing a huge slow field around her. And Yone was just caught in the middle and ends up dying, even though it looked really good for them at the start.
It was a good look from both sides, and it just ends up being in favor of Moon. They played it very, very well. That Set buying so much time, holding the Haymaker, able to use that shield to his advantage. No Renekton there to break that shield.
Yeah, for sure. And because of that, Camp are starting to edge out with a bit of a lead here, just barely, but it is still extremely close.
Things are looking a lot better, but the Set's coming in with the Predator. He's running, but he is going to miss the Facebreaker. Not going to land that one.
And I like to point out that majority of the lead is actually with the bot lane of Camp. Set is 2-1 and 4. Kais is 3-1 and 3 with the completed Kraken Slayer, compared to some boots and a bunch of sharp objects from Xayah and Zed. So,
I mean, I guess you could poke her to death, but that's all you can really do here. Asmund is not in the greatest spot when it comes to itemization, but I think he realizes that there's not much he can do in this lane anymore.
Yeah, and it's good because they're not like getting solo killed or anything. They are playing the weak side properly. And on the other hand, you can see that Renekton has a finished Gore Drinker compared to a few items from Irelia, but not a Get yet.
Ooh, Can of Tin is taking some decent damage, but he has the sustained advantage. R is blown from Xayah, the Feather Storm, keeping her alive.
Yeah, and that's the power of Xayah. You can try to hard force on her, but she can just press R and stay so safe. And her flash is going to be coming up sometime soon. We'll see if Kragas can try and make a play before that happens, though.
One thing to note, the Aurelia has very few little components, and the Renekton has the full Gore Drinker, but another fight coming in the bot lane, and K-God is just going to fall. They are taking advantage of that flashless Thresh.
Yeah, exactly. As I pointed out, great job. Thresh's flash was just about to come up, but Gragas comes down, and Thresh does not respect the Hex Flash play from Zed there.
Out of the Renekton, though, I would have liked to see a Stride Breaker. I honestly think that item overall is just a lot better. Although Gore Drinker does synergize very well, but there is a nice fight in the mid lane. That is, Lysandra's able to live, but she is able to use that Glacial Tomb to keep herself alive and bait out the Lilia ultimate.
Yeah, that R must be so annoying to play against. She used it at the perfect timing to bait out both Lilia ult and Yone ult, actually.
2 ults for the price of 1?
Really good.
Take that every day of the week.
Yeah, for sure. And you can see such a big lead being gained by Renekton here. I do understand how the Stride Breaker would be better.
It allows him
there
to
is
force a lot
of
harder, in my
Exactly,
opinion.
yeah. Kaisa is not going to have as easy of a time kiting her.
Oh,
And oh no! Adderall is going to be able to dodge that, but the Predator coming in, the Vanguard's edge is going to land. He's going to get slowed by the Diamond Wall, and Badger's going to take that one. But Aurelia is stuck in a bad spot. No, he's not. The Thresh is going to flash forward with that Haymaker. Renekton is ignited. No healing coming in from him, but it is going to wear off. He is able to get away at half HP. Is going to burn the Dominus.
yeah, for sure. And you can see Yone actually getting a really good trade across the mid lane, getting some bio here.
Definitely.
CJ is able to back this mid sometime soon.
He does almost have enough gold, I believe, for that Immortal Shield, though. I think he is sitting on enough.
1,200.
So he definitely has enough to finish that item. The Gore Drinker does feel very nice, but with the nerfs, I just think overall Stridebreaker is a lot better. But a dive coming in from Canopton is going to burn the Flash. No Ignite, though. Is going to be forced to walk away from that. It was a good look, but unfortunately,
it was
doesn't pay off.
so close to killing Lissandra, just barely not able to do it though.
If he autoed one more time, if he had a single longsword, that could have been a kill. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. If he had the shield bow, it could have been enough too.
And that actually ends up with him burning his flash there. So we'll see if that can be punished by the Gragas here.
There are a lot of flashless lanes to punish, but not anymore. Oh, another trade from Canopton going in. The E forward is going to make sure he stays alive, but the Glacial Tomb is going to stop Yone in his tracks. Double TPs coming in from both top laners to keep their mid lanes alive for just a little bit longer.
Well played by Badger there. He knows Yone no flash, playing super aggressive, just like the set is here. Oh my god.
He's running, he's moving at the speed of light, and the Featherstorm is forced away from the Xayah, but K-God is looking in a good spot, but Badger's there to make sure that good spot is a bad spot. He's caught out in no man's land, and he is going to fall. Honda's able to take that one. The Aurelia is very, very sad.
Yep, and Mountain Dragon coming up in less than 30 seconds. Mooncamp should have access to this, as Renekton and Lilia are trying to get Herald on the top side.
This is a series, my friends, but here comes the set! He's running no Featherstorm this time, and the flash is forced from Esmond, and he is a very sad bird.
Yep, and they're actually going to be looking for this inner tower, and probably going into the drag after with the Lissandra push that's coming. Oh, Yone looking for an all-in.
Oh, things are looking nice. That Q is going to land. Here comes the slice, but the Lissandra's not able to follow through with her claw, and she is going to fall.
Yeah, really good CC chaining with the Q into the ulti so that Lissandra is not able to press E again. And Yone, even though it is a hard matchup, he is making the most of it, and he's trying to push his lead. Things that got him player of the game last
double
time.
Sleep could go through, but they are going to stop the dragon from taking because of that. But Vapist on the top side is trying to do his best to stop Yasuo. But Yasuo is taking a lot of damage, but the Aurelia is doing so much too. Dominus is going to come through. Yasuo is very, very strong, though. Has the full blade of the Rune King. Flash is forced from Vapist. Flash forward from Yasuo, but he cannot land any autos. But Renekton is going to land that beautiful, beautiful ulti. And she panicked. She flashed forward. She should have just taken the summoner and left.
Yeah, actually, I think she kind of flashed on the spot there. Didn't really get what kind of flash she wanted, because
she didn't flash far forward enough.
If she wanted to flash auto, she didn't get the auto off either to just get those few little touches. I think she could have killed the Renekton there with her fully stacked passive, or just take the sum, but unfortunately, Renekton does come out on top, and that is really annoying for Aurelia to deal with.
Well played from her, but for the early parts of that fight, but the flash, that was not what you want to see.
Yeah, but you do see the value of the Bork Aurelia, which is such a strong first item spike for Aurelia to be in. She can just auto you did that so well with it.
Definitely, and I think if the Renekton does want to make things a little bit better for that 1v1, just build a Bramble Vest. The biggest counter to Bork is armor, so having that and a little healing reduction cut is very, very nice.
That is true, yeah. And I do want to see more plays being made onto bot lane here, because Xayah still no flash. Your bot lane is super strong. We've seen 8 out of the 10 kills, 7 to 8 from the bot laners and Gragas coming in for the kill participation. So they should keep trying to push their lead over here.
One thing to note, Esmond only has 1 death. He is playing very, very well. But Badger might be looking for something. It's not going to use the explosive cast. It does have it available, however. But Dragon is spawning in 3 minutes, but there is a Baron up. So both teams may look for that, maybe look for an early Baron, but overall I think things are just going to settle down for a little bit as they take the time to scale before this next Dragon fight.
I do want to try and see some really good Lilia LTs come out in this next fight. She has a flash Q into the R combo available.
She also has a stopwatch.
She hasn't made too much of an impact yet. I do want to see her
try and get into the thick of it and try and catch out the Kaisa and get that big shutdown.
She also does have a stopwatch, so she is able to make those flash plays and survive for the most part. So I'm hoping that she does make some nice plays here. You see the Yone opting towards that Bloodthirster. He does have the Vamp Scepter sitting in his inventory. So going for a little
Yeah.
safer of a build this time.
We talked about how Mooncamp. Oh, Seth getting caught out here.
Uh-oh, Set caught in no man's land. Is going to be rooted up under the tower, but he isn't tanking. There was a cannon to keep him alive, but Adderall is stuck in a bad spot. Is going to flash out, is going to live. That is going to keep him alive, but Thresh is going to get explosive cast into the middle of the team, but he's still alive. He's staying alive. Wolf Knight is trying his best to claim that kill, but they're all going to get away. So close, yet so far from both teams.
Yeah, Seth playing so aggro, getting caught out, but he just takes no damage. So PVE not able to do anything with those catches, and Lilia having to burn her stopwatch and her flash here. A huge part of her combo is gone now.
Not
So
up for
we'll see
Dragon,
when-
too. That's not what you want to see. She has nothing for the next fight. That's going to break out. And this could be soul points.
Yeah, for sure. You see Yona trying to look for something, but Lissandra just ease away.
Lissandra
I do
is
want to do another
running.
update on this top lane. We talked about Mooncamp is strong in their bot side, but PVE, that top lane is still really ahead.
60 CS.
Renekton hitting 200 CS now. Yeah. And he was able to get the soul kill last time, so we'll see if he can keep pushing his lead here.
He does not have the Sterak's gauge yet, but he is sitting on some very nice components. The Phage and the Pickaxe just giving him a lot of raw AD and some sustain too.
Oh,
Oh no, Esmond, this is not where you want to be. The Gale Force is not going to mean anything. Win the second, just run at you at the speed of light. Going to be Ard backwards. The Showstopper is going to keep him in spot, and a book added to Ez. Oh, Honda's going to flash the hook. Another collection pulled off though. The Kaisa is sitting at 5-1. Very, very strong.
yeah, and it looks like both games the Kai'Sa is just able to do so well. Showing how flexible and how useful she is as an ADC here. And it looks like Mooncamp is going to be starting up this Baron, and there's not much that PV can do about it.
That's a little...
Beautiful engage by Yone here.
Yone is able to land a nice R onto 3, but the hook is going to go wide from K-God. He's trying his best, but it doesn't matter. Yone stuck in 3 is going to fall. The Lantern not going to be enough, but Adderall is going to be explosive cast into the middle of 4, and the Vanguard's Edge going to claim that kill up. Aurelia taking one, her first kill of the game. And they're just going to turn right back onto the Baron. No jungler. This is a free Baron.
Yeah, but because of this, that stall, even though they did lose the fight, I think PvE is going to be able to get to the dragon. We'll see if Mooncamp can try and contest it. But that would make it 3 dragons now for PvE, which is a pretty good sign for them.
Definitely.
It looks like they are going to try and come across to the dragon. We'll see if Mooncamp can burn it in
There's
time.
no jungler, but Badger has Smite. He saved it. They are going to look for it. We'll see if anything happens. Predator is going to be procced. He's running.
Close.
It's going to be very, very close. It's up to Desire to take this, but the Gragas is here. Flash forward. And before he's doing his best, he's going to keep himself alive with that Glacial Tomb. And Asmund is 1 HP, and the Badger is able to claim that one up, stopping Soul Point from coming through and buying them some more time.
Yeah, and they're barely just not able to finish the dragon there. I was wondering if they were trying to save abilities or something, because it really did look like they could get it in time. But hindsight is 20/20, I guess. So looks like there'll be 2-2 dragons with Mooncamp getting the Baron.
This is a very scary situation now. I think that PvE just has to try and wait it out. They do have the scaling factor on their side. They just need to buy some time for their carries to get strong.
Yeah, for sure. So now after these resets, I want to see Aurelia going into the side lane. She's going to catch that bot wave and keep pushing. I want to see them try and get that mid-inner tower finally with the Baron buff coming in now. Oh, Thresh is looking for a hook here. Not it.
K-God is not able to land anything there, unfortunately. It's going to go slightly wide.
Yeah, honestly, hooking set at this point is just...
Yeah, it
he's
doesn't
just,
mean anything.
Doing him a tap on the
Yeah.
shoulder. Yeah, he's just so tanky as a support. He's so fed right now. And he can kind of go wherever he wants. It looks like the Omni Stone does pay off for him. Because he is playing very well with it.
The Kaisa is also in a very, very strong position. Almost finished 3 items. She does have the QSS respecting a lot of the CC that can be set up from PVE. And if she gets caught out by her Renekton, if she gets hooked by a Thresh, that could be game over.
And if Mooncamp do end up winning this game, Kai'Sa might make her way to the advantage from red side. Oh, but a hook coming
Oh,
across.
hook onto the Badger. Badger's very squishy, but the stopwatch is going to come through, stop that from happening. Nightshade is going to tank up that tower, making sure his jungler is able to walk away from that alive.
Yep, burning the Zhonya's to help the Gragas get out. Yeah, so Kai'Sa is just such a strong character, as we were saying. And it looks like there hasn't been any ADC that each team could find to match her so far. Might be a red side band coming across, and we'll see what else can be dropped down from the list if this does go on to game 3.
It definitely looks like this is going to be a game number 3 with just under 5k gold lead for the side of MNC. They are looking to win this game and make a statement here. Maybe break that spotless record from PVE.
Oh, Xayah.
Oh, Xayah, Esmond, you gotta flash that. Oh, you gotta R that earlier. Oh, Esmond got caught big time there. He just got perma CC'd. I think he needed to burn the Feather Storm earlier, but a beautiful flash Vanguard's Edge from the Aurelia is going to take that kill on Can of Tin. He was stuck under his tower, and they're just going to be able to claim up some inhibitor towers because of that too.
Yeah, just really nice catch plays coming across in top and mid. And this gives them a gigantic lead. They're going to end up grabbing the inhib here, and it is looking very dire for PvE in this game.
Definitely. This is definitely looking like MNC are in the driver's seat here. The Moon Crew are looking to make their landing today, especially here in this series. They want to make their mark. They want to dethrone the Kings.
Yeah, oh, Set looking again.
Oh no, he's running at the Mach 10 faster than the Lilia, but that Glacial Augment is going to slow her down just a little bit.
Yeah, and now this Lissandra pick that was able to do decently in the laning phase, they're going to be able to get so many catches with it. You can see the amount of vision that they put across in the enemy's jungle. It is littered with wards in that top jungle. This would allow Lissandra to grab picks with their ult, with the EWs, things like that, and they could have really quick engage with the Aurelia like we saw in top lane. So we'll see if they can keep taking advantage of that, because we talked about this at the start of the game. They have so many engage options, while the other team not really anything other than a Thresh hook. So we'll see if they can keep trying to take advantage of this and just force fights to their will and end up finishing off this game.
The Kai'Sa is sitting on a nice 3 and 3/4 items, and the Xayah is sitting on 2 or 1 and maybe 2, but it's not looking very good.
Yeah, there's a 5,000 gold difference between the two ADCs right now. There's not much Xayah can do at this point in the game. She does end up picking up the ER, but as we talked about, Kai'Sa has her 3 core items, and the other items she has a QSS, that's perfect. Executioners to reduce the healing, perfect. So really, just a perfect spot for Kai'Sa to be in right now.
They do get caught out by the blue trinket, so no Death Rush set up. But Adderall is looking for a play onto Before Life, but he is able to run away with that Glacial Path over the wall. Oh, the Fancy Feet might be enough. The Fancy Feet might be enough. Force the flash right into the waiting hands of Adderall, but he's taking so much damage from the Glacial Tomb. Is going to try and use the Glacial Path. Is going to be able to take him down in exchange for his life. Well played from Before Life there. Very well played.
Pick up the trade kill while dragging so much pressure to him.
And that is third Drake.
Yeah, the third Drake gets picked up here, and they have the prio on the ball and are able to pick up the tower here.
They have to look for something here. Kai'Sa is going to flash, going to burn that one, but the Yone takes so little damage, but he is able to live with the help of that Immortal Shield Bow, and the shutdown is going to go over to Vapus, and Nightshade stuck in a very bad spot. The hook is going to follow through. Nice flash from Thresh. The Vanguard's Edge is going to be missed. Nothing going to land, and Yone is back in the fight at full HP, and Nightshade is going to fall. Kanatin taking that one with a mark.
Yeah, that's the power of the shield though. Kai'Sa kind of forgetting that she is still an ADC, getting cocky going in there, ends up having to burn her sums and still dying there. So
You may be a fed ADC, but that is a Yone.
Yeah, so PVE definitely haven't given up yet. They're trying to look for signs into this game. They're looking towards this Baron while the enemy bot lane is dead. They should try and force this as soon as possible.
The strongest member has fallen. They need to look for this now. Gragas is there, but they can look to burst him. He is a very squishy boy with that AP build.
Kaisa is up now, and she is on her way. Honestly, oh, Lissandra looking for something.
He is going to look for a play, but it's not going to land because she was CC'd up. It is going to force that glacial path over. But the flash play from Nerf Adderall is going to land onto 3, but the stopwatch going to stop that from happening. But a nice hook onto Lissandra is going to give Esmond a nice kill there. And that is going to force them to turn away from the Baron, and Lissandra trading her life once again for an objective.
Yeah, PVE realized that they're not going to be able to finish the Baron in time to Kaisa comes, so they try and just force onto an engage. But again, they don't have that good of an engage. They're barely able to get Lissandra. Oh, and they're actually
They are starting up this Baron. But they are just going to walk away from that, forcing the TP from Vapus, though. Very, very well played. But they are starting up the Baron again! Everyone is just Baron dancing for everything. Kennison trying to stop everyone, but he might just be stuck in no man's land. He's going to take a lot of damage before going back to his Ghost. But Set is going to use that Showstopper to do so much damage to Set. And a beautiful explosive cast from Gragas onto 4. Vapus in the middle of 5. He's healing for so much. He's able to take out Kaisa again. Vapus doing so much work! He might be able to kill that slice and dice. Xayah is able to claim that with that beautiful, beautiful feather. And it is just Vapus all day, every day.
Yeah, that Renekton going off the fight. Lissandra coming in.
Oh, Lissandra trying to our solo. Nerf Adderall is sitting at 1 HP, but are they going to be able to save him? He is going to fall. Adderall is going to fall, and the Glacial Tomb is not enough. She does fall in the end, even with the 2 untargetable abilities. That Lissandra is going to fall no matter what happens there.
Yeah, and they're able to barely get this Baron here.
But that is an ace. That is a lot of gold, and that gold lead has swung. It is just under 1,000 now.
Yeah, and they were able to pick up a lot of shutdowns, and this allowed them to just climb back up. This game is almost even at this point, and we'll see what these guys can do with their Baron, but to try and push out and try and look for that mid-inner tower maybe.
One thing to note, all those shutdowns went on to Vapus, and Vapus is super strong. He's one-shotting that Kaisa every fight. She is not allowed to play the game anymore. She may be 4 items, but Vapus has 3. And those 3 items mean a lot.
Was just tearing apart the team. He was sitting in front of 5 people. We were doubting the Core Drinker, but I
He
think
healed half his health bar.
so big. Yeah, and Core Drinker, even with the nurse, he is able to just terrorize that backline, just kill everything in his path. And honestly, I think better spacing could maybe be done to kite out the Renekton. Maybe they just didn't expect what he could do because they were already so bad. So we'll see what happens in the next fight, if Renekton could maybe be missing that Stride Breaker build, or what ends up happening here.
The Renekton did only have a 30% healing debuff applied to him. The Ignite was not used last fight, and the Kaisa did not have her full Mortal Reminder. So the reason why he was able to heal so much was because he only had a 30% healing debuff applied to him.
That's true. We'll see if Set does get the Ignite across just to stop the healing instead of to try and like pick up some kills. Looking for another cheese bush here, actually.
It isn't going to be spotted out this time, and ooh, this could be a very, very dead K-God, but he is spotted out on a ward, Wolf Knight. But this is another Death Brush. This could be something. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh, the Thresh is trying! He's going to use the cage, but that doesn't mean anything when there's 4 members waiting for you with open arms.
Yeah, and Greg is looking with the Predator for another pick.
He's looking.
Really good vision. That's a 107 vision score coming across for Wolf Knight Shade. Great play by him to grab vision everywhere, and this translates into picks. And we see PVE actually just
They're
running
trading
down
the soul. They're gonna trade the soul for mid towers.
And
We'll
they're
see
gonna
if this
be
is
able to get
worthwhile.
the tier 2.
They
And
are
it
gonna
looks
pick up
like
a
they
Baron.
both go top after.
It would be the optimal play to go towards that top lane, take down some towers, get rid of some of that standing gold. And I do think the Mountain Soul is not the greatest on the side of MNC because a lot of the damage coming through from PvE is very consistent damage. So Mountain Soul does suffer a lot into DPS style teams where it's very, very strong into burst damage teams.
Yeah, and Yone bringing 2 people down bot with the pressure, and this is letting PVE try and push up, get some damage onto the top tower over there. They should have supers pushing into mid here. We'll see what they can do with it, and if they can grab some of that vision control back so that they're not getting caught out over here.
That is the play here. Vision has been a lot of the reason why MNC was so far ahead in the early game, but the gold lead has finally swung towards PvE. They are now in the driver's seat, slightly.
Yeah, the gold lead is pretty even, but important to note that the mounted still gives a bunch of gold stats.
Hmm.
Overall, though, it is still very even. We talked about it before the game. We think blue side has better scaling here. Their DPS with Yone and Zaya is just really good. And Lilia, although it hasn't happened yet, she will scale pretty well and be a pretty
She
good
has the
big
core
damage.
now, though. She has the Demonic Embrace as well as the Laundry's Anchorage, so she is going to be doing a lot. But Vapus might just be caught in a bad spot. They are running at him with the Predator, but the Kaisa just gets hooked by K-God K, and she might just be burst down. Adderall is able to land a nice sleep. The QSS is burned, but she burns it too early, and the hook is going to follow through once again, and Asmund is going to take down the Kaisa. Vapus is turning this 2v1 in his favor. He's doing so much work here. The Gortricker keeping him alive, doing so much. Derek's is proc, and he's going to be able to run away. He's stalling. He's just stalling for the rest of his team so they can push in the wave.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it again and again. This threat is insane. He's able to bunny hop with the hook onto the ADC, and they're able to catch out the biggest member on Mooncamp's team. And this is gonna give them so much pressure to grab this bot tower here. And again, that Renekton, he's turning around in the 1v2 and just trying to punish the people who come after him and attracting so much pressure.
And this is a free tower for them. Or it should be, rather.
Yep, should be.
Oh, Iona is looking for something with that E4. It's going to land some decent damage onto Ember 4. Even with that Mountain Soul, he is going to take some damage. But they are just going to look to back off here. They are happy with the towers they've claimed. They were able to get 2 off of that non-Baron push.
Yeah, so we'll see if the extra scaling gives them the edge over the Mountain Soul. In my opinion, it does. I think they'll be fine against it. Kaisa, no flash right now, makes a big difference in this next team fight that's coming up. I want to see them trying to look for her with Lilia going for a flash QR or something like that. To burn the QSS with the Kaisa, and then Renekton and Yona just tearing apart into that backline to kill her.
One thing, she did burn the QSS way too early. She was not able to cleanse the sleep. She cleansed before the sleep landed.
Yeah. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Renekton?
Uh-oh, Vapus stuck in the middle of 4. He's taking so much damage, but the Vanguard's Edge is actually going to go wide here. Vapus stuck in no man's land, however. The Lantern is going to keep him alive. Yone is trying. He's able to land a beautiful, beautiful R onto 3. The sleep is going to land, though. QSS once again burned way too early from the Kaisa. Adderall's going to claim that one, and Badger's going to die on the backside of this fight, too. Asmund is able to open up now. Gale forcing forward. Triple kill for the Zaya. Flash forward is going to miss. Hondas is trying his best, and Hondas is going to fall, and GA is going to keep that Zaya alive.
And that is gonna be game.
That
A
is
crazy
game.
fight over there. Renekton having a stopwatch to stay alive, even though he was caught. He gets Thresh Lanterned out and attracts so many abilities to kill him that the rest of the team just is able to do so much work, and really good sleep by Lilia to drag it out. And the people who died in this fight really actually made the difference by attracting so much pressure and abilities onto them to let the
Hondas.
backline do the work.
Hondas, you need to QSS later, man. You can't QSS so early. He QSS
and
every
that is
sleep
gonna be it.
too early, and that is game. Game number 2, going to PVE, taking the series home 2-0. Okay.
Yeah, PvE
Um,
showing their backbone. They were so far behind, but they were still able to do
Resilient.
so well and come back.
They played that game very, very well, and they were able to take it home. It may have been very rough in the early game, but they were able to pull it back. It was off the back of some mistakes from the side of MNC, but we saw that PvE know how to give up Drakes and turn it around because of the Drakes.
I agree. Like we definitely saw MNC get a bit cocky when they were pushing into that bot tower. They definitely did have the lead then, but PvE they did not give up. They looked for picks with Thresh. That pick on the Kaisa ended up making such a big difference. It honestly won them the game. I think because not only did they kill the Kaisa to get pressure, but they got her flash, and because of that, she was just able to get killed at the end of that team fight instead of making a big difference. On top of that, Vapus, that Renekton was insane. He was able to just 1v5 in the team fight and provide space for his backline to walk up. And there was multiple times where it looks like he was caught, but he just turns around on them, lives, and just does Renekton things with the Gore Drinker.
The Renekton, I think, was one of the key players that was able to save that game. He played incredibly well. Vapist, props to you. You played that Renekton very well. You were not turned into a pair of crocodile boots today. No, you stand with the boots of a set on your feet.
Yeah. So, overall, this does wrap it up for the series. PVE does end up with the win with some stellar play by both teams, honestly. Um, and this does push them up to first place. If I'm
7
not
and
wrong.
0. They were already first place, but now they just solidify that lead even more, sitting at a nice 7-0, dropping Moon Crew down to 6 and 2. If the if Return of the Middlesticks does lose their game tonight, they will be tied for second still. But if they do win, it's going to be a sad third place for Moon Crew, just on the cusp of making playoffs. Top 3 do make it. So they have 2 more weeks here, and we will discuss some more of this as we do go to a quick break while you guys do vote for your player of the game. So we'll see you guys in just a little bit as we do discuss the both games that just occurred. Don't miss it. We'll be right back, and hopefully your player of the game does win it.
Yeah, ooh, ooh, yeah. Hey. Am I dreaming or this is real life? Yeah. Am I dreaming or this is real life? Yeah. 'Cause in my feelings, it just feels so right. Yeah. Please tell me not dreaming. Don't wanna live a lie. I just saw you and don't believe it. When you smile, my heart just freezes. You're so perfect, and I mean it. It's so easy to love you, easy to love you. It's so easy to love you. It's so easy to love you. Yeah, tell me if you feeling mine. I don't wanna waste my time. Right now I'm just feeling yours. I will never let you cry. Yeah, you're what I was looking for. Baby, let's just give a try. Anything can happen. It could be more than a night. I just saw you and don't believe it. When you smile, my heart just freezes. You're so perfect, and I mean it. It's so easy to love you, easy to love you, easy to love you. It's so easy to love you.
Welcome back, everyone. Real quick, before we do get into some talks, your player of the game is Mr. Vapist, the Renekton in the top, that big old crocodile sitting at 4-11 for PvE. He played very, very well. He drew so much pressure. He turned a lot of the fights. He was the key playmaker in a lot of these, but I think everyone on the side of PvE did their jobs overall. What do you think about game number 2, Karthik?
Yeah, PVE, they were definitely behind, but they did not give up. Renekton was their win condition. He was playing really well from the start, creating leads for himself. He had insane leads in lane. I think there was one point where it was like 19 to 56 CS, right?
Yep,
So the
that's
vertical
painful.
jungling allowed him to play forward, and he definitely made the best out of that situation. And in team fights, he popped off. He attracted so much pressure, and I think ultimately that's what ended up winning their team the game.
Yes, the Renekton was that X factor for PvE in game number 2, and he played it very, very well. I don't think there were many blunders from him. He froze that wave. A lot of top laners, even pro top laners, would have broken the freeze and just shoved the wave and looked for a base. But he was able to just maintain composure, just deny that Aurelius so much CS, and make sure that champion that can be very, very strong was very, very useless.
Yeah, for sure. And on top of that, just other shout out to Thresh as well.
Okay,
The
God.
game was hanging on a knife's edge, and he was able to find a hook onto the enemy Kaisa over the wall and bunny hop his teammate in, and able to get the kill while blowing Kaisa's sumps, which ended up winning them the next fight as well because Kaisa wasn't able to create space for herself to keep dealing damage with. So really good play by him, and overall with the team, they had really good macro decisions, and they had the mental to not give up despite being so far behind, and they crawled their way back and ended up with the 2-0.
They definitely deserved it. They played the objective game very, very well from behind. Like, it feels very, very bad to give up a soul, but when you recognize that it is a mountain soul, that your team does not really suffer from the enemy team having that, you recognize where your strengths lie, and you recognize that you can just get gold by playing the map better, by getting those objectives in exchange for some of the drakes. For you were able to get some barons, you were able to play off of that. That's how the game worked. They played off of objectives very, very well on the top side.
Yeah, and on the bot side too, we saw the map being split up with vertical jungling, and Zaya, she barely died. So really good plays by Asmund there. Even though she's weak side and she was down in CS, she made sure not to give up too many kills and was still able to do decent damage and scale up well later on into the game.
I think Zaya is one of those scary late game 80 carries. Is a very, very, very squishy glass cannon, however, but she was able to stay in the fights long enough. She did build that Guardian Angel, was able to keep things going, and I think overall PvE played this game very, very well from behind. But one thing to note is MNC were in the driver's seat for most of this game, right? They were able to maintain good leads, and it was a couple of blunders in that mid to late game that cost them this game. They were ahead. They were in the driver's seat. They had all the chances to win, but they weren't able to.
Yeah, I think overall it's still like a good play from them at the start to get those leads. I think they kind of thought they were got away with it already and lost a few big fights, and because of that, there was that crazy moment where it was just Baron being tackled by both these teams, and they were able to lose the fight there with some excellent Renekton play from Vapist again. Um, and because of that, it ended up with PVE being able to crawl their way back. But overall, like this wasn't like a bad series. Like it was really close at a lot of times in both games.
It may have
So
been a
really good
2-0.
play from
Yeah.
both of them. Yeah, it did not feel like
Did
a
not
2-0.
the way both teams played, it didn't feel like a 2-0. It felt like it was a blow for blow slugfest. Everyone was doing their best to try and win the game. Everyone was punching hard. Everyone was doing their jobs, and unfortunately, it was PvE who were the better ones on the day, and they are able to stay the kings. They are now 7-0 on top of the standings. They are the leaders, and they are looking to make a stand in playoffs, and I'm very excited to see them. But once again, Moon Crew, they have a chance to make playoffs. They are sitting at 6-2. They might be in third place. They might be in second place, depending on how the other games went tonight. So Moon Crew could make an appearance, but I think if they are able to clean up their mid game a little bit longer or a little bit better, and maybe clean up a little bit of those team fights, I think a lot of it had to do with misexecution during those team fights. One thing to note, like a lot of those QSSs were way too early with the Lilia. or on the Kaisa with the Lily asleep. And I think a lot of it is going to be execution because they had the right ideas. Their intentions were good. They just weren't able to execute on them.
Right, yeah. And basically, like what that interaction is with, it's not like a different type of sleep where you can just cleanse it whenever. You have to wait for sleep to go off. And because of that, Kai'Sa still ended up being affected by the CC, and she was able to just get ripped apart.
The you can cleanse the drowsy from Zoe, but it's not the same thing with the Lilia, like you said. The interaction is not the same. Like you're used to being able to cleanse things from a Zoe, but overall this interaction is very different. It's something that you would have to learn, but I think as Lilia can rise in priority because I don't think these jungle nerfs hurt her very much. So I think this champion can become stronger, especially as junglers like the Olaf do fall out of favor.
Yeah, and honestly, I think I would actually argue that because with these jungle changes coming through, people who can gank still become very good.
Hmm.
Power farmers like Graves and Lilia. We saw Lilia wasn't making too much of an impact in the game. I'll be honest. Because she can farm, but her ganks, you need to get really good ultimates off, and it's pretty situational as opposed to a Greg go in, E
Hmm.
flash, kill someone
We
with
did see that.
C.
We
Yeah,
did see
exactly.
Badger
So
make those big plays down in the bot side that E Flash follow was able to kill that Thresh down in level 2 in the bot lane. So yes, junglers like that Gragas, like the Sejuani, like the Zac will be making more appearances, but I do think Lilia with her support build can be very strong in this meta that is to follow. And I think supportive junglers like the Ivern can also make a big stance here.
for sure, yeah. And yeah, I guess just some closing thoughts. Really amazing series.
Hmm.
PVE maintained their first place, but it is not over for Mooncamp at all. They're still very
They
strong in
have
the
a
standings.
mhm.
Can still make it into playoffs and challenge them again in playoffs. And I would love to see.
Definitely. I think they have a great chance of making playoffs here. We've seen how strong their early games can be, especially with game number 2 coming through. We know now we just need them to figure out how to execute end games. That's how they need to play from now on because they have that early game. They played it very well, but they got cocky like you said. They thought they had the mental edge. They were like, "Oh, we have this." But it's not over until the enemy nexus explodes, and I think that was one downfall that did happen. They initiated a couple fights that didn't need to happen and ended up losing them. So if they realize that it's not over, if they just keep playing it as though they're 2K behind, I think that's the way a lot of teams should start to play, especially if they are going to get overly cocky if they think they're ahead. Play from 2K behind the entire game. Think you're behind,
For
so that
sure.
way you make the right decisions no matter what.
Yeah, definitely. Mental diff in game
Mhm.
2, honestly.
So thank you for joining me, Karthik. It was a fun time. So tomorrow we do have the LTS. We have the Diamond League playing up tomorrow. So we'll see Gurf tomorrow on stream. Thank you guys all for watching. We'll see you in a couple weeks, or sorry, couple days. I'll be back on Monday. We'll see you then. Hope to see you all. Take care and have a good night.